Alrighty. Let's try this again. I dropped the bit rate and dropped the frame rate. So hopefully that helps. Alright. So I dropped the bit rate down to 6,000. And I dropped the frame rate down to 30 frames a second. So basically cut my data output by half. So hopefully that's less taxing and I lose less frames. Other than that, I don't know what it is unless it's internet connection. Well, I mean, it's not going to be as it. Honestly, the funny thing is it's going to be less smooth. Um, because like I'm only doing 30 frames a second versus 60. Obviously, 60 frames a second is a lot faster. It's a lot smoother playback. But if my computer's not putting it out, I'm gonna do a speed test to see how the internet's doing, because that might have been part of the issue. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you why it's still locking up. I said I'm gonna do a speed test and see if that's it. Maybe it's a router issue. Oh, definitely not a router issue. Oh shit, what happened? There it is. Let's say not a router issue. Though upload is a little slow. Upload is a little slower than normal, but then again, I'm also using some of that upload bandwidth. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I know parts. Hi, pilot. Again, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Um, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering, and that was at 9:33. What time is it now? It's just now. Ah. Oh, now it's saying it's healthy. I don't know. I am utterly freaking confused. Okay. You know, I thought I was past all of these like streaming drop frame issues when I got the new computer and we got the high-speed internet, and personally I don't think it's my end. I don't know. I think it's a YouTube thing. Because I don't know how else to make this better. Maybe it's stuff I have on top of the computer interfering with the Wi-Fi, maybe. Get some of the glass bottles out of the way. All right, we'll see. Maybe that might help. No, now I'm losing frames again. No idea. All right, well, we're just gonna ignore that. Oh my God, you haven't used a Cadillac in a month. What are you gonna do in? Uh, but anyway, live stream. How can we make this better? How can we get more views? How can we get more people to join and watch? Because struggling. The last couple of this is the most people I've probably had in here in several weeks. So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys want as people that have watched this channel, watch these videos? Is there something you'd rather see me do? Is there something that I need to change? Mill Parts is saying hi, Bradley. I don't know if you can see the chat or not.
No, I haven't grabbed my other phone to look at that.
Well, No Parts Garage says is giving you the hand wave.
Hello.
All right, well then I'll try to stay on top of the chat then, since you can't see it.
I'll grab my other phone.
This week no, but there are weeks where I promote it everywhere. Still nothing. In fact, actually, I tend to do better when I don't promote it. Go figure that one out. The days that I don't take the time to send out the live stream notification to everywhere, I get more people in here. And I don't seem to be getting new people in here whenever I promote anyway. It's still normally the same few people, the same people that join normally are the ones that are here. You know, you got Jesse, Pilot, you know, your Harvey, you know, you, Kat, Chris. I said Jesse already. But yeah, it's still normally the same people. Yes, I promoted on the only other platform that I'm generally on and have a presence on is Instagram. Twitter I've seen has just become a giant freaking mess hole. More fake bots than normal, freaking all kinds of just Twitter's a mess. You know, it kind of goes to show you just because you get somebody that's rich and wants to change shit doesn't necessarily mean those changes are going to be good. I should use TikTok to promote my content. Yes and no. Yes, I should. But my problem is I don't like making TikTok videos. I never know what to record, and TikTok is different. You know, I can record stuff on YouTube, but what I record on YouTube doesn't necessarily translate well to a minute video. Teasers, sure. I could do teasers on TikTok. I could. I don't have time to make the videos that I make on YouTube currently. I've been sitting on that video. I have not touched that video. So I have the dash video, the finished dash video. I have it sitting with all of the content in my video editor. I have not been able to touch that this week at all. Now, granted, I've also been doing a lot of research and everything else trying to get all the parts I need together to do the wiring harness. Because once I finish that dash video, I've got nothing after that filmed. So once I finish that video and put it out there, I've got nothing after it. And I don't know if I'm going to have anything after it for a little bit because of moolah. YouTube's not paying out. I'm not getting the ad revenue from YouTube, so I don't have that cash flow coming in to be able to buy new parts or to pay off the parts I've already bought. And you know, some personal reasons, we that money needs to go elsewhere. So when I can get the stuff to finish the wiring harness, I don't know. But I also needed to figure out what I needed and how much it's going to cost. so that way I have an idea of when I'll be able to afford the stuff. I am seeing the chats. I'll look at it in a second. But yeah, I mean, TikTok is its own animal. You gotta have to make standalone videos to make TikTok work. Now, granted, you can use them in Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, but that means double the content. Not only am I making long format content, but then I've also got to make short form content. Plus, I have other things that I'd like to get stuff like getting Jess's design stuff done. I got to design her new logo. I've got to get her shirts done. She has one that's going to be Crystal Jail Without Bail is her newest slogan she wants to use. You know, anybody who has a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever that's into buying crystals or any hobby, let alone people that are into Pokemon cards, people or whatever, when they start collecting and then they end up collecting themselves out of money, that's kind of what that is. So, you know, Crystal Jail Without Bail means that she is not allowed to buy any more crystals, you know, until her bail is set. But anyway, let's see. Let me get back to these because I heard somebody say they agree with stuff, so I need to go back through here and look. Have you sought out and joined new groups? Yes, have I sought out and joined new groups? I belong to well over 300 different Facebook groups pertaining to the topics of interest to my YouTube channel. When I put out a video, I literally spend 4 hours probably collectively sharing out that video to as many of those groups that video pertains to. It's a lot. And a lot of them aren't happy when you share it. That you get a bunch of negative feedback whenever you start sharing or promoting your own YouTube channel. Let's see. Promoting on other platforms. You should TikTok to promote content. Twitter is a dumpster fire. Yes, I agree. If you don't like making YouTube videos, but what are you? I like making YouTube videos. That's not what I said. I don't like making TikTok videos. But then again, I don't like short format videos. That's a lot of work for 60 seconds. And again, I find that the people that come to my channel via TikToks don't want to watch the long format videos that I put out anyway. Not saying that I won't do that. I've done them before. But again, I still get the same result. It totally screws up my analytics when they come to YouTube. Or when I post those short videos to YouTube as well. And I still find that people don't want to sit there and watch the long format videos. My view time drops dramatically. But okay. Not saying that I won't do it or I won't try it. And I don't think so, Cat, but I'm not on Twitter. Yeah, no, Pilot, Twitter's a mess. I spent some time on Twitter. Twitter's a mess. It's full of bots impersonating celebrities, and the funny thing is they're verified bots. I mean, how do you get verified as a bot? But yeah, it's hilarious. Anybody who's got the $8 can get a verification sticker. That's absolutely hilarious. I really suck at time management. Yes, you're right. I suck at time management. I suck at priority management. I have ADHD. It happens. I also have motivation issues, especially when faced with a large project. As soon as I see large project, it's just, oh my God, and just, you know, I have trouble breaking down large projects into smaller projects. Even with this wiring thing that I'm doing now with I have to consciously thinking about focusing on one part of the harness at a time. Because if I start thinking about the harness as a whole, I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're not the only one. That's why my dad's sled barely got worked on, and
yeah, I gotta think about breaking it down into small steps and focusing, I need to get this part done. Which is also probably why the YouTube videos really work for me, because YouTube video, I can focus on one part and make the video on that one part. But anyway, I'm still trying to go through all these. You guys are putting out comments, so no. And the thing is, it's not. I've also had time, but the other thing is the hours and what I'm working, and the fact that I'm not being able to fall asleep when I probably should. Even when I go up to bed early, I'm still laying, or I wake up in the middle of the night like 6 times. And so, even if I have time, my brain is so freaking just like mush. Like, I'm so tired I can't even think clearly. And I can't sit here and edit videos or do anything like that when you're too tired. You just can't. You just sit here and you stare at the screen and it's just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So let's see. Let's see. Here's the thing. You can put out short teasers, like up to 2 minutes, to promote TikTok. YouTube Shorts is a minute. You can also just put out shorts or TikToks out talking about your lives. Yes, I can. I have actually done that. And I did one for the song from Avenged Sevenfold. Didn't do very well though. But yes, I can.
From Jessica.
Why?
I swear to God, check your messages.
Why? I'm in the middle of the live. Why would I check my messages? I don't check my phone when I'm on messages, when I'm on live.
Great.
She sent me a shit ton of freaking... Send her the stream key. Do you mean the stream key, or do you mean... Know what she means. It's not a stream key. It's an invite to the video chat. I don't even need to do that. I can just send it straight through here. If you were still in the freaking live stream group, you would have it. Now she's going to come up here and roast me. And you could have just sent me a message in here. Minute-long videos really take no time at all, though. It depends. Again, you put out a different style of video, Cat. You do. You don't edit your videos. You don't cut them. You don't do anything to them. I can't stand putting out a video that way. Just me. I'm a perfectionist. And to a fault, literally. Let's see. Can't complain about exposure if you don't put yourself... But I do. I have 2 Facebook pages dedicated to my channel. I have an Instagram dedicated to my channel. I belong to how many freaking groups I share my stuff out to? I go back and count how many I shared the last video to. It's well over 70 freaking different groups. And that's just Trans Am groups. You know? But yeah, it is great. Everything I'd like to do involves money. Yes, it is, and I don't have it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just don't like making TikTok videos. I don't know, Jess. I'm confused. Oh, there she is. Resident Troll. Turn your camera sideways.
No,
The landscape.
no.
No, she refuses the landscape.
So you're sitting here bitching and complaining about exposure and not having viewers and lack of viewers, whatever the hell. And the other day after my TikTok live stream, and you were so keen on giving me all of this advice as the wonderful, great streamer that you are,
Oh,
on how to get me exposure and how to get my stuff out there, but yet you don't want to listen to me
I didn't say I didn't want to
and
listen
Kat because
I don't like TikTok.
because the quick little things on TikTok, the more you put them out there, the more you utilize your tags, you
I
can
also
get
hate
people
tags.
over here.
I also hate tags. I never know what to put as a tag.
So before you come at me for my stuff,
I
why
didn't-
don't you take our
I
advice
didn't
for
come
your stuff?
after
Because
you.
I was complaining that I don't like YouTube. But you're like, oh, but you
I
another
have-
platform. Oh, you can
I
get more
have TikTok
people.
stuff.
Oh, you need to expand.
I have TikTok stuff.
You don't use it.
No, because it didn't perform.
You didn't use it long enough.
See. You sort of don't have to go through though. You can just do a quick video talking about what you're doing and showing. Yeah, I the thing is okay. Now she disappears. You're on here, but you disappear. I can just do a quick video talking about what I'm doing and showing. But the thing is when I'm recording my videos, when I'm recording the videos themselves. Oh, Troll's back.
I lost the thing.
Oh, okay. Anyway, then she's also telling me that I should do quick videos talking about what am I doing and showing you what is the next video going to be about. The thing is I don't record my videos that way. I don't know.
Record my shit your way.
Well, I didn't ask you to do your videos my way.
But
I just
the
said to
advice you were
literally
giving me was
repost.
basically you telling me to do shit your way.
No, when I
So
told
I'm sitting here telling you try doing shit my way.
Okay, well then you can record my TikToks.
And you can record and edit my YouTube.
I don't need to.
We
I
know
don't
how
need
that's
to
going to
edit.
go. We know how that's going to go because you haven't even completed the T-shirt designs that I asked you to do.
She's trolling. She's roasting me. But anyway,
You wanted people up here.
yes, I'm not bitching.
I don't like it.
Streamlabs stuff every 30 seconds for 8 people sucks. What does that mean? I'm not understanding what he's talking about. Pilot says the Streamlabs stuff every 30 seconds for... Oh. It's not actually every 30 seconds. I have 4...
Yeah, they're annoying.
Yeah, well, if people chat more, they wouldn't be so often. And I can't change it depending on how many people are in here. They go off at a certain time limit.
It's the same thing as I was saying with people being like, smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe. I hate it. It's annoying.
Then I'll shut them all off. I really am. I'm frustrated. You guys are having a ball, fine. I'm frustrated. The thing is
we're trying to help you.
Well, then I'll shut them all off. I don't care. I don't care if anybody follows any of it then. I don't even know. I don't even know where that went. I guess I closed that window. But, I mean, if it's... I don't... He said there's 4 of them. One goes off every 12 minutes. One goes off every 6 minutes. The other ones go off 14 and 10 minutes. And there's a minimum amount of freaking comments that have to be in place for it to display.
Well,
I can't
chat.
make it.
I'm not in the chat filling the chat right now, so.
Yeah, I know, but I can't sit here and the other thing is you have the people gambling and all that stuff. I can't make that shit disappear either. I mean, I can turn off gambling. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
It's not the gambling and stuff that gets annoying. It's the
help, support,
repetitive.
donate, and all that stuff. It'd be great
Yeah,
if it was back when I had a bunch of freaking people in here. You wouldn't see them as often because there'd be a
people
lot
get
more chat in
busy.
between. But again,
People get busy, and with the state of the economy right now and everything, more people are working. More people are working overtime. People are picking up shifts and doing jobs that they normally wouldn't do. I work weekends. I work graveyard shift weekends. A lot of people don't normally do that.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you've seen the state of my TikToks. I went from getting 5 sales at least a month between 4 live sales a month. I go live at least 3 to 4 times a month, and my goal is just to get 5 sales through an entire month. And I've only been doing this for 3-4 months, and I've went live once, twice so far this month, and I have 0.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting anybody in my lives.
Yeah, I don't know what it's up with everything. I don't even know. But yeah, I mean, do I want to make things less annoying? Yes, but at the same time, I'm still a business, and I still need to, you know, I don't know. I mean, like if I don't put up something up there about the fact that I have a website, if I don't remind people I have a web, it gets no traffic. Because unlike a storefront where when you walk down the street you see the sign and the logo and you see that the store is there, if I don't tell people that there's a NOVAtazz web store, they don't know it's there.
Yeah, but you have to have a fine line between, okay, hey, it's here, and it's here. By the way, it's here. Hey, it's here.
Again,
Just so you know, it's here.
that one goes off every 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes in between seeing that. I mean,
It's the same thing with other people when I understand promoting live sales. I need to do better on promoting my live sales because I don't. But when I see somebody promoting their live sales multiple times a day, every day a week, or even every day a week, it gets really annoying, and I am like 95% likely to unfollow them. So I stop seeing that bullshit.
I mean, I don't think I promote myself that crazy.
No, I'm talking about TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like, subscribe, hit this button, smash that button, demolish this channel, whatever. It's a fine line to walk. You need to promote yourself within reason, but not annoy people so that they just don't do it.
No, I don't know how to.
And you're coming up, like, the people that you're promoting to is a completely different generation. You're promoting to, technically, our generation.
I mean, yeah, I would say that because I mean, my viewership isn't young.
Exactly. So you need to find a way to promote and expose yourself to the younger generation, because the older generation, no hate to older people in here, they aren't as tech savvy. They aren't going to be as likely to follow, because you can run into an older guy down the road who loves your 79 Trans Am, but he may not know what the hell YouTube is.
Right.
And he may watch that one video and love it, but he may not, like, really care to watch your stream every week. So you need to cater, but you need to kind of tone yourself also to the younger generation that will do that.
I don't know. My viewership are 25 to 65 plus. I have literally nobody under really 25 watching my channel.
And I can tell you probably there's not very many people in that 25 age range.
What do you mean?
I see that face, Brad.
What do you mean there's not many
Not
people?
that far from 25.
What I'm saying is what do you mean by there's not very many people in a 25? The 25
I
to
said
30,
there's probably not very many people in
that's
that
the
age
biggest
range.
range. That is my biggest range, 25 to 34. I have 0% in the 13 to 17. I have
Like you're not going to.
I have 2.8% in the 18 to 24. I have 23.8% in the 25 to 34. Actually, I lie. Biggest range is 35 to 44, which is 28%. And then it goes down to 20% for the 40 to 54, 45 to 54, and 18% in the 55 to 64.
But if you combine those percentages for those older age ranges, it far outweighs people in that younger age range.
So there's a lot more years involved in that, yeah. The biggest age range, the majority of my age range is from 25 to 54.
And how many people, like in that younger age range, are going to be interested in those older cars that you're not going to be seeing as
That's
much
why
of?
that's why I don't have a following below 25. I'm
And
not
that's why I'm kind of
targeting
saying you need to put something out that kind of might bring those people in.
what? That's when I'm confused. I mean, I don't understand. What am I supposed to be targeting them with then? Because that's not what my channel's about.
You were saying you used to put out a variety of content.
Well,
If
yeah,
you
but
grab
again,
somebody with some other variety of content and can kind of keep them with that content, they might go over to your other content.
yeah, but I don't have any. I mean, right now I haven't worked on any of this stuff, and I don't think that's going to interest people under 25 either. None of my hobbies are under 25. Like I mean that's like asking.
What about recording your models more?
That's
You
why I
used to
said
do that.
this stuff here. That's the younger generation really isn't into that stuff.
They're just now started bringing models back in Walmart and St. Mary's.
Well, yeah, that's not. It's not a like. They're the stuff that I'm into. Today's generation is just. I mean, the only thing that I am due that today's generation I think would be slightly interested in is video games, and I don't play them that often.
Yeah.
Video games is probably one of the most popular ways to go. Yeah, but
But again,
uh,
that market is so saturated, and that even takes even more time and effort and work than doing what I'm doing. Again, and that also is changing what my channel is, and that's kind of like
I'm not saying you change what your channel is.
okay.
I'm saying you need to expose yourself and find a way to broaden thy horizons.
Harvey says I am here for this content. Well, yeah,
The
and
troll
that's
content because I'm here.
I mean, like I said, this channel is about classic cars and customization stuff. That's what it is. I don't want to become a video game. I tried that for a little while.
I'm not telling you to.
Right. And the thing is I don't know what else to. I mean, like, yes, I want to get back. This is generally my winter hobby because it gets too cold out in the garage. You know. So yes, this generally picks up more during the winter than it does during the summer.
Maybe ask what younger people you have, what they might like to see, and what else they might like to see that would get them interested.
I don't know if I
And
even have them people to watch to see
you were just saying that you have such and such a percent in this age
2%
range.
out of okay, so out of how many views? In the last 28 days, I have had out of 12,500 views, 2% of those were under 25. Math. Hold on.
I mean, and
250.
you may not like unedited, unfinished content, but like you said, Kat pushes out content constantly. It's probably why her shit does so well, because of the amount of content she pushes out and how often the algorithm is more likely to favor her.
Yeah, I know that. The algorithm does not like my type of content anymore. I know this. But I also
It's not even type of content, it's amount and how often
right,
you
I
post.
can't produce content that fast. Cat does not work. No offense against Cat. She doesn't have to work a 40-hour job plus.
Right,
and doesn't
which
have
is where
kids and
smaller
family.
content bits come in handy.
Right, but I don't have the amount of time to make that content. Like I said, you still have to have the time to put the work in to make the content. I still have to have the time to go out in the garage and go fix something, make something, do something to record the content.
The content that you prefer to do, yes.
The content that this channel is based on.
But a 15-second short saying, hey, I'm about to go out into the garage and I'm going to work on this wire harness on my 79 Trans Am. Head on over to my YouTube. I might have that video out in like a week or two. Done.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but I don't think like that.
Those
When I'm out
pictures
there,
you put on Instagram, hey, put it up. Say, hey, this is kind of what I'm working on. This is the wiring harness, and this is
whole point
etc.
of
Blah blah blah. When I start working on this, I'm going to be making a YouTube video. I'll let you guys know and update you guys when that's out.
But isn't
Head
that
on over
kinda
to my
just
YouTube
like,
and check some of my previous content.
right? But isn't that literally just like the whole, hey, check out my NOVAtazz.com or it's the same thing that you just yelled at me for doing. Is spamming ads to go check out this or go check out that.
Depends on how you put it out there.
I guess. And again, this is not me putting down anybody's ideas, or it's
a crystal shop that just posts some little thing with a countdown timer saying this to my live, blah blah blah, compared to somebody like Crystal Lover. Her name is Brandy, and she doesn't even sell crystals. And I'm using crystals as an example just because that's what I know most. She does lives of unboxing crystals, but every time she's live, she's holding one of her really more unique, cool pieces, and she shows it, etc. And she's like, see, this piece is from this such and such a shop. I'll be doing an unboxing of more pieces from this shop. Come check it out. You might find something you like.
Yeah.
Compared to just standing there and talking at people or generic shit. You got to make it interesting. I'm more likely to watch her shit, even though she does promote those videos often, than I am other people like Dreaming of Druzy, who just films herself talking like I am like right now, with a little timer saying, I'm going live tomorrow at 11:30, stop in, I'm going to have some really cool pieces. Well, what cool pieces are you going to have? I don't see shit. I see your face.
Well, I mean, I can pull up my Instagram, but I mean, that is kind of the point of the Instagram. The Instagram is snippets in between the videos. It's the,
right,
what
but
am I doing?
People don't want to put through that extra effort if they're watching you here. A lot of people don't want to do that extra effort to go over there to see it.
What do you mean, to see the snippets in between the videos? Well, it's because that's every. Yeah. I don't necessarily care that the people from YouTube go over to Instagram. I'm more wanting the people from Instagram to go over to YouTube. YouTube is where my money is at. YouTube is what brings in the
But you
revenue.
also only really put pictures on Instagram.
Yeah. Because the
You don't
videos,
talk,
I
you
put
don't engage.
videos, I put the videos on YouTube. I mean,
That's where
Instagram
those
was
shorts
always
come
a
in.
picture site.
But that's where those shorts come in. A short might grab more attention than a picture. I look at that picture and I'm like,
I know you can't see the comments because you're on your phone. So I'm gonna start reading. Harvey's commenting up a storm. He goes, we already read the one that says I'm here for this content. Then he goes, I wouldn't watch content about the care of a 2015 Kia. Well, when I do those videos, it's not for my regular viewers. It's for the how-to viewer community that don't really care about sticking around and watching all of my videos. It's there to grab those, my taillights out in my Kia, how do I fix it, people. Which those videos do very well.
See, and it's great that it's awesome that you're there for that content, but his problem right now and what we're trying to discuss is bringing new people in to watch that content. You're already hooked on that content. You like that content. He needs to bring more people in to get hooked on that content, to get his views up, and that way he isn't as discouraged as he is right now in making content and doing these live streams.
All right. Next comment was, that is Cat. You're not Cat. Shouldn't try to be. Right. I'm not Cat. I do my videos differently. I have a different way of editing, and it's not that Cat's way of editing is wrong. It's not. It's the way Cat does it. It works for Cat. Just like the way you do your stuff is different. You do you the way you do you. Because if people are going to like you, they're going to like you for how you do your thing.
Although that doesn't stop you from, like, you
trying to get you to have a little more enthusiasm.
Inject enthusiasm into my voice. I'm sorry, this is my voice. This is what you get. This is about as enthusiastic as you
get. You got
get.
enthusiasm in putting the daggers to me.
Yeah, this is when I'm enthusiastic. It's when I'm sarcastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then he goes, some days I don't have brain frogs, I have kittens. Little buggers refuse to get in line like ducks. No, I don't even have kittens. I have ducks, and they're all drunk.
No, Sean
I have squirrels, and they're all drunk.
Squirrels that are high on LSD at a rave.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's either that or they're all freaking, getting over the drugs, and they're all passed out on the floor in heaps.
I have brain frogs.
Right. He goes, I can get all the reminders and forget. And then he says,
I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a brat and I don't like being told what to do.
That's probably it, but yeah. He goes, hard to hold a Pontiac in your hand, because we were talking about holding a crystal. But the thing is I do that, I'll bring in stuff, like, I don't have anything in here right now, because I took it all out to the garage. But no, I normally put something in the background of what I'm working on, at least during the lives. And that's kind of what the Instagram posts are all about. They're all supposed to be the teasers of, this is what I'm working on, this is the next video that I'm doing. Get excited about it. I don't know.
Well, and that's kind of like one of the cool things TikTok does is when, somebody can hold up their hand and a little picture shows, you can be like, hey, this is my 79 Trans Am. This is, and I'm going to be doing this on it, and blah, 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 this. Or you can do the green screen thing behind you.
Yeah, I have not dove into how to make good TikToks and what is working and what is not. I haven't put forth the effort. You're right.
I'm getting
what?
Invites to people. Sorry, I'm getting invites because a lot of the people who do crystal live streams go later in the night, and I'm starting to get everybody's live stream invites.
Yeah. Let's see what else is. Jesse popped in. Blue Bronco Jesse. He says, "Hey people, I was a bit late but made it. Also, hi Jess, you're a top tier troll tonight." And then he's gambling. And seeing where he's at. Well, yeah, he's got to catch the cat while Cat's not busy trying to get even further ahead of him. Not too far behind.
I'm not just the top tier troll. I am the troll.
Yeah, she is my troll.
Although I'm not
see
just
how bad
here
this
to
live stream is for me? I poured this when we started the live. This is how much I've drank of it.
I'm
And
not
this is
here just
expensive.
to troll. I'm trying to give actual constructive criticism here.
Well, yeah, and I'm not. You're being constructive. A little bit of destructive along with it, but they're being constructive.
Chaos shall reign supreme.
Yeah, I mean, my Guinness is. Oh, wait, there was your hint. Um, we'll save that for later.
Well, now you can't do what's in the cup.
Well, I can still do what's in the cup. No, 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 no. We do not drown Guinness. Don't do that. No, this too extra. And I don't have another one. That was my only one. I'm even stuck to not having my regular, because like that's all I got left of my Gentleman's Jack. So obviously that's going to sit there in the freaking bottle till I get another one.
I mean, we both have two completely different problems
You just
that
need
are
people.
affecting us in a very similar way.
Yeah, you just
You're in
need.
a very
you need exposure.
specialized niche. You're in a very specialized niche that doesn't get very much attention, but I'm in an oversaturated
Yeah,
niche.
you just need to get people to look your direction. The thing is I have the thing is again, I have how many subscribers? If just a fraction of those subscribers would actually watch the videos, that'd be awesome.
Most of my
pushing
views
close
on
to
my
three-
live streams don't come from subscribers.
Right, and that's the thing with me. If I were to go back and look at my things, out of the last video,
Although I feel my issue with that comes from the fact of on TikTok you need 1,000 subscribers even to go live.
Right.
To reach that, we have follow trains on TikTok to get you up to that 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, then that's YouTube kicked that in the ass. In fact, they actually started hurting channels that did things like that because you get what they call empty subscribers. And it was to combat bot channels from being able to get to the point to where they can they could be monetized, and a bot channel will become monetized, grab a whole crap ton of ad revenue, and then disappear.
Very much.
And so YouTube.
So even though I have 1,000 subscribers, only a handful of them are even interested in what I put out, and only like 2 or 3 of them actually pop into my live.
Right. So out of the 68-ish views that I got on my last video, only 19 of them were returning viewers. So those are people that have watched another video and came and watched this one. The other 40 have not watched another video, and that's not even including how many. Okay, so 72% of the views from that video were not subscribers.
And honestly, I have ideas, and I've had ideas for how long on doing things. Like, that's why I have a YouTube channel. There's just nothing on it. I have other pages and channels and stuff. Like, I have planned for a blog. I've planned for informative YouTube videos. I've planned to do passive income on Etsy by doing digital content.
Mm-hmm.
My issue is I ain't got the fucking motivation to do it.
Well, I mean, some of that is the same thing that I have an issue with, is motivation to.
I got plenty of squirrels and frogs in my brain to make the team to do it. It's just a matter of getting them up off their asses to do it.
Right.
And no matter how many nuts or flies you dangle in front of them, it's still not motivating them.
So I mean, so we go off my last live stream that I did. 86% of the people that watched that were subscribers. 13% were not. My podcast, the subscribers show up. It's my regular videos subscribers don't watch, which is funny.
Have you thought of recording just a verbal podcast and putting it on Spotify?
Well, I mean, I can also take this podcast.
Because some people may be more able to or more likely to do a verbal and not video podcast.
Right. Well, I can take these podcasts, take just the audio out of them, and upload them. just I mean that's what a
because
lot of
that
people
can
do. They'll
just
have
be
a
another form of exposure.
but the thing
People may not
is
want to sit here and watch it, but on a drive to work, they might be able to sit here and listen to it.
the thing is I think Spotify and some other of those podcasty channels, I think there's a whole lot of criteria you have to meet to be able to put a podcast on those. And some of them you also
Doesn't
have to
hurt to
pay a
look.
fee. You also have to pay a fee to upload your podcast.
Right, but it doesn't hurt to look,
No,
and
it
it
doesn't
doesn't
hurt to look.
hurt to look into other platforms either.
No, it doesn't. I did it in the past. I went and peeked around. I didn't find any that I thought were going to work.
There's always new ones.
Yeah. Jesse says, yeah, that's a hard part. I don't know what that was too. He needs to catch up on my videos. I do the same thing, Jesse. Mr. Fireman 164, who does that Camaro that basically has nothing left of it but the roof, is the only real original part of that car still left. Everything else has been replaced. I've mentioned his channel more than once on this channel. I was like 6 months behind on his videos. I just binge watched them all within the last like week and a half. He also has another channel that I think I'd like to promote. It's called Amazing something or other. But it is one of the most profound muscle car builders. It's his protege. So I'd have to go back and click on the video, whatever that I watched last, where he was talking about the guy. But it's it's called Amazing Metalworks, and it is what's his name? But anyway, he literally works at a place where they put together muscle cars. That's what his job is. They put back together muscle cars, either completely from all brand new panels to fixing ones that are, wrecked or whatever, and then turn around and resell the shells. That's what they do.
You can also, I don't know how frowned upon it is in the YouTube community, honestly, because I'm not part of the YouTube community, but you could try finding automotive people who do lives or whatever on TikTok or other platforms and kind of do what I do. I don't exactly shamelessly promote myself on other people's lives, but I might pop in, and if they make a comment of, oh, yeah, things are going really slow, I'm like, yeah, my live sales have been going really slow too. I understand, it really sucks. And I might get like 1 or 2 new followers.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I do that as well. I used to watch Jason and Grant's live stream all the time. My problem is I'm never really around when people are going live, or my attention span actually freaking absolutely sucks watching other people's lives. I pop in Cats every once in a while when I see that she's on. But a lot of the channels
honestly, most of my newer followers have come from me being in other live streams and either them plugging me or just chit-chatting back and forth about our trade and just different crystal things or metaphysical things, or me just dropping that, I do live sales too, they've been really slow.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the people that I follow don't do live streams.
Even comments on their videos or
that
content.
I have trouble doing. I really keep an eye on that, guys.
I can't.
Somebody got rid of it.
I'm trying to.
Well, I was gonna let it sit there because technically they have not necessarily. Well, I mean, I guess their title was enough. I didn't even realize. Look at their full name. Yeah, we're getting the bots apparently. Yes, Antonio, I do see your chat, your chats. I just haven't been able. I haven't had the time to segue into recognizing it.
Bots need to go away. I'm the only troll allowed in here.
Right. But yeah, Antonio is popped in. I did see that.
And I'm sorry for anybody trying to catch his attention. I tell other people on his lives when I'm in the chat to do it all the time, to just talk over him, because that's the only way you can sometimes get a word in and actually get your thoughts out.
Sometimes.
Because he'll just keep talking.
Well, if there's certain other people in here, sometimes they'll even overtalk me. So, but yeah.
Or just tell him to shut up.
Hey, that's not nice.
How many times do I have to sit here and say, "Can you shut up for 5 seconds so I can say something"?
I'm drinking. I wasn't talking for 5 seconds.
Problem solved. Tell him to take a drink.
Oh my god.
Thing is he doesn't drink that often, so I can't just hand him a beer.
Yeah, no.
To shut him up.
I'm a social drinker. I'm not a drinker. So I don't drink just to drink. I drink in social settings. So like if we're out at a restaurant, I'll
I
have a
will
drink.
carry a lollipop.
Let's suck on this.
And shove it in your face.
I got something for you to suck on.
Wow.
It's your turn.
That just derailed everything. Oh.
I gotta throw them inappropriate thoughts of my father in there.
Where is your father, by the way?
I have no clue. I haven't heard from him since I went down to Harrisburg.
He
On
saw
Monday.
the invite. He was the only one in the group chat to see the invite.
I'm
When
gonna
I
have
went
to
live.
go though because my phone's almost dying.
My phone is dead. It died.
I'll pop back into
No, I lied. It's
I'll
at-
pop back into the chat, but
Yeah.
I'm done being an asshole right now.
You weren't being that much of an asshole.
For now.
You gotta try harder next time.
I don't know, you got pretty frustrated
Yeah,
there
I'm
for a
frustrated,
minute.
yes, but it doesn't mean you were
You
being
threw
an
your whole
asshole.
whatever. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just gonna turn it the hell off.
Well, because I got frustrated. I'm allowed to get frustrated. I'm human.
Funny thing is I'm usually the only one who does that to you.
Yeah. You have a whole different level of my what is that? My I don't even know what the word is I'm looking for. You're on a whole different level there. You got a different level of attachments into my heart than most people do. So.
Aww.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What happened? You left for a second to read a message. Nothing really happened. I don't think.
I'm popping off because my phone's gonna die.
Okay, we should go plug it in.
Charge.
Well, I have to do that inside.
And you can't be live
And
inside.
no, I really shouldn't even be live now, but
Yeah, shh, nobody knows.
but I'm not even in the house, and they're asleep, so.
Yeah, I didn't see her.
Yeah, who's
No.
this person? Nope. Ghost.
Hi.
Bye. Oh, you guys don't get to see her that often. But that is my better half. Some days. But no, I don't think anything really happened, Jesse. We were just continuing the conversation. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I have so I can actually talk about projects and stuff today. I mean, unless none of you guys want to talk about the projects that we're currently doing. Yeah, for better or worse, I don't have to. Technically, I have a choice. We could part ways. I don't want to. There's a difference. I have a suggestion. Your channel name versus what's on your videos is confusing. Change your name channel to NOVAtazz Customs. Might be a more consistency. I don't want to change the name to NOVAtazz Custom. I've had NOVAtazz as my name since the very beginning. NOVAtazz Customs is more of... Alright, so NOVAtazz is my YouTube channel. It is me. NOVAtazz Customs is more of the business. If that makes sense to you guys. NOVAtazz Customs would be the name if I opened up a shop. NOVAtazz is a reflection of me. What are you shaking your head at?
Pilot comment.
Oh, Pilot's always gotta throw the fucking far left fucking curveball.
Oh yeah,
Or would it be far right? I'm not sure. He pitch swings just like your dad does.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like NOVAtazz Customs would be the name of my business. And even though technically NOVAtazz is still my business, NOVAtazz Customs is more of like the shop name. NOVAtazz is me. Take NOVAtazz Customs off of the video. The thing is that's my logo. That is again the business logo.
That would be like if you bought a shirt, that would be on the front of the shirt.
It is on the front of all shirts.
Yeah, that's where the NOVAtazz Custom is where all his shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the shirts. That's if I were to go out, it's technically what I do out in the shop is NOVAtazz Customs. Okay, that's the working on the TA, that's the making the furniture, that's the doing the whatever. NOVAtazz is me. NOVAtazz is a personality. NOVAtazz Customs is the business. I mean, that would be like saying Mike's Hot Rods. Mike's Hot Rods is the business. You know, but maybe his personal channel, which is what NOVAtazz is to me, it's my story, is the channel is based off of me. Come on, Pilot, you're gonna end up getting blocked. Not literally, but yeah. So yeah, NOVAtazz is me. Pilot, that was borderline on being not tasteful. But yeah. All right, that squirrel. Drunk squirrel.
Basically, how you're saying is NOVAtazz is you just like, oh, let's see here. I'm pretty sure my dad's
Cletus
TV
McFarland.
handle.
All right, there you go.
Is
Cletus McFarland. Cletus McFarland is the YouTube personality. McFarland Fabrication is the business.
Yep.
That's exactly it. Huh? Well, yeah, and that's my real name is not NOVAtazz. My online personality is NOVAtazz.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Cletus McFarland is the brand. You don't see, even on his shirt merch and all his logos, it doesn't necessarily Cletus McFarland. I mean, he's got Cletus, he's got McFarland Fabrication, he's got a bunch of other different logos.
Yep.
But his YouTube channel is still Cletus McFarland. You know, there's no confusion there. It's the same thing. NOVAtazz is me as a personality online. My shop and my work would be NOVAtazz Customs. There is a difference. You know, again, NOVAtazz, online personality, NOVAtazz Customs, the shop work. You know, whatever I put out, because I don't ever really put out anything that's not custom. Even these, there is not a single model kit behind me that I have built ever straight out of the box. Not a single, not even when I was a kid was there a single model kit that I built that was straight by the instructions, ever. Always modified it. Always changed it to something that I wanted.
Same as mine.
YouTube is all about consistency with everything. Content weekly, maybe joke or put out a bloopers in the videos, make videos more fun and entertaining. Okay, I can take that. Consistency. Not a consistent person. I cannot be consistent. I have a 40-hour work. I have bare minimum a 40-hour work week. I also can only be out in the garage so many times out of the time that I'm home. I can't be out in the garage if nobody else, if Jess isn't home to watch Luca. If Luca is home and Jess is not home to watch him, I can't make videos out in the garage. I cannot do it because my kid does not My kid has ADHD. He's like me. He does not behave enough when the camera is on for me to be able to record a video. Because even if I do record with him out there, if he does something in the middle of the video that I can't use, generally cannot reshoot the shot that I shot. No, you are fine, Antonio. Your advice is whatever. I am going through. Just because somebody gives advice does not mean, you know, that I don't take it, even if I have a reasons why I'm not doing it. The only bad advice is advice that isn't given. That sound about right?
That's true.
You know, if you don't tell me it, then I won't know. But you also don't know necessarily my whole my everything. I'm just going through and answering, you know, my 2 cents on your advice, which is also my right. You do well over 100 hours a week. I schedule my content to release automatically on YouTube on their own because I work so much. Yes, that's understandable. I don't know. From what I've seen of your videos, though, is they're you tend to put out a lot of shorter videos and stuff that you can do quickly. Unfortunately, if you've ever restored a classic car, can't necessarily do some of that stuff quickly. Like, I've literally spent Brad, how many hours do you think I have spent in the last 2 weeks literally just combing over this wiring harness project that I haven't been able to film?
No, I've heard a lot with all the stuff you're trying to figure out.
So I went through the whole wiring harness because the harness that I bought was from American Auto Wire. They have an absolutely amazing instructions to put it together for people that don't understand wiring. It's great for somebody trying to install a harness that doesn't understand things like wiring diagrams and stuff like that. But the problem is, if you're trying to modify their harness or to custom install something, their instructions are not very helpful when it comes to that because there is no wiring diagram. There's no pin out. There's no labels as to where this wire terminates or where it goes. It has a bunch of picture diagrams that show a generalization of where each plug goes, but not what is including of the plug, what polarity each wire is, and where it begins and ends. It's just a general, here's the harness, here's where all the breakouts go and what they go to. It's great if you're just going to install it as is. The thing is I'm trying to modify that harness to work with components that it didn't come with, components that I've added to the car over the years, and a complete sniper EFI and all of that stuff, which again, I could install all of that stuff as it comes from the factory. There is no reason why I could not install that Holley sniper unit as it comes from the factory in my car. It would work just fine. But it would be wires everywhere. The harness does not break out where I need it to. It would not be a very clean install. It would work. It would function. There's nothing wrong with the wiring harness itself. I'm a picky bastard, and they don't like the way it sit, and so I'm modifying it. I don't want a bunch of individual relays screwed to the firewall of my car. I don't want to put things in places where Holley has the breakouts for them. I want to install them where I want to install them. I want the wires to run where I want them to run. So I'm tearing apart their harness. I'm tearing apart the Holley Sniper harness. I'm tearing apart the American Auto Wire harness. I'm modifying the both of them to work together. And I want to treat them as one unit instead of 4 separate wiring harnesses all over my car. I want it to look like it was all one factory harness. And so it's taking me a while. I had to completely decode the American Auto wire harness. Find out where all the wires go that I do or don't need. I did. Pilot, I did. They do not have a wiring diagram for my harness. I could sit there on the phone with them and ask them, hey, where does this wire go? Where does that wire go? They could tell me. But I could just as easily do that myself, which I did. I went through and I tracked down the wires that I needed to change or rearrange or move. And I found out what terminals and length of wire that I need to do what I need to do. Because that's the way that I work. I have been tearing apart and modifying things since I was old enough to be able to know that I could take something apart, which is around 4 or 5 years old. My mom caught me tearing apart my toys at like 4 or 5. She had to hide all the screwdrivers and butter knives. Because as soon as I figured out that I could use this to take that apart, that was it.
Game on.
My mom brags about this one story. She had a $400 fucking exercise bike, and I'm talking $400 in the early 1990s. $400 exercise bike. I tore it apart. My mom came down the basement stairs to come check on me because our playroom was in the basement. Our whole basement was turned into a playroom. And I was in the middle of tinkering with it, and I went and hit all the parts all over the place because I got busted. Needless to say, that bike never went back together. Not because I couldn't put it back together, but because we lost the pieces when I went and freaking hit everything. We were still finding pieces of that bike when we moved out of that house. But yeah. I don't necessarily, I mean, like I said, I can call tech support. I can do that, but I can figure that shit out on my own. Again, I did. I don't have any of the paperwork in here. I took it all out to the garage today because I was going to do something out there, and it didn't happen. But I literally hours in documenting everything that I wanted to change, what parts I needed to replace, because once you can't reuse a terminal. I can reuse a length of wire, but if I need to cut a terminal and shorten a wire, I need a new terminal. I can't reuse a terminal because once they're crimped, they're done. Not to mention, if I'm eliminating wires or needing to add wires, obviously I need new terminals and whatever. I had to figure out what connectors I wanted to use. I needed to figure out, style of connector determines what kind of the style of the connector determines what type of terminals you use, how many terminals per connector, because not every type of connector has a certain amount of terminals. There's some connectors out there that don't have seven wire terminals, 7 wire connectors, and there's other series of connectors that do. So it's a matter of finding what works, what doesn't, how expensive, because I mean, I can go all the way up to bougie like Deutsch connectors. They're like $20-$30 a connector set. For one connection, $30. I don't have that kind of money. I'm looking at MetroPack, WeatherPack, and Delphi. I think are the 3 main types of connectors that I'm looking at using. Holly uses MetroPack. Most of the stuff that the American Auto Wire uses is the Packard 56 and 59. Actually, some of the stuff that Holly uses is also WeatherPack. And it's also figuring out what they used. Because I have to find, if I want to modify or lengthen or shorten or whatever any of their wires, I need to know what terminals they used. I need to know what connectors they used. So when I depin their wiring harness to shorten a wire, I know what terminal I have to go get to replace the end of that wire. But yeah, I did all of that. I have I can actually pull it up. Let's see. I think I pulled it up last time I was on here. But anyway, yeah, so I made a mistake the other week when I was on here. I had to close down the computer to restart to add a program, and I forgot to save. I had to redo 6.5. This was the second time of doing it. To put the information back in took me 6.5 hours. Just to get back to where I started. 6.5 hours. So yeah, here, let me pull this up here. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to read this. Not at that size, you're not. It's, can I go a little smaller? I don't know how if you're going to be able to see that on any of the screen. But yeah, like I have the part of the harness. This is a rear defrost. My car came with it. I have all of the original harness for this, but I need to replace all the wiring in it. So I have all the connectors. I have to replace all the terminals and all the wires. Connectors are fine. The wires are 40 years old. They're not fine. I guess I'm overcomplicated it, but that's me. So I had to find out what were all of the connectors that I needed, what connectors were in the harness, what terminals each of those connectors used, what color wire, how long I needed, so I can make a shopping list of what I needed to pick up and buy. Like I said, I may be freaking overcomplicating it, but it's how my brain works. So I had to go through and I had to go and figure this out. Like I said, some of the stuff I don't have. Obviously, custom radio. I wanted plugs in there. I didn't want to use butt connectors. Yeah, I am. I'm more of an exact thing. I used to be just throw shit together, and it has caused me problems in the past, so they end up having to go back and redo shit anyway. I'm gonna spend this money. I want to do it right. There will not be a single butt connector unless it is a the kind factory used. What are they called? Uninsulated butt connectors. Literally just like a little brass U, and you crimp both sides of it, and then you heat shrink over it. But you will not see an insulated butt connector or ring terminal or anything. Everything's going to be yeah, he does his best, but he only solders wires. The problem is, especially when you get the smaller wires, when you heat up copper, it makes it brittle. And you can cause yourself your own kind of problems by soldering all of your connections instead of crimping them. When you crimp a connection, it stays flexible. Right? It's a nice firm hold. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, actually, you kind of slightly weld the wires when you crimp them if you crimp them right, because you literally crush them into one wire. But they stay flexible. When you heat up a wire to solder it, you also heat the wire up inside the insulation. And you can cause the wire to be brittle. And you can cause it to fail at the solder joint. Not inside the solder, but just outside the joint. You can literally cause it to snap. Especially with vibration or anything like that. That's the other thing. There will be no connection between two wires. That's the other reason why I'm doing this. It will be one solid wire from one plug to the other. That's another part of the reason why I'm doing things the way that I am. When the cheap manufacturers rarely solder anything, I take notice. The thing is a crimped joint is better than soldering. I have done a lot of research. I have done a lot of everything. If you look at race cars, a lot of race cars do not use soldered joints. And there's a reason. Again, I am being the meticulous person that I am. I have done a lot of research. Before I dove into this wiring harness, I watched a shit ton of videos. I read articles. And although they say there's nothing wrong with soldering versus butt connector, yes, there's a difference. The plastic insulated butt connectors are not what I'm talking about when I say crimping. When I'm talking crimping, I'm talking an actual terminal. So the part that goes into the plug. Now, butt connectors, again, these are what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me see if I can find them. And these are what factory uses. Not factory, but these are what where are they at? Not those. Why can't I find them now? I'm finding the tubed ones. The tubed ones are not what I'm looking for. I'm ignoring. I removed quite a few and replaced the whole wire. Yeah, I don't do butt connectors. That's actually what killed my original harness. My Trans Am was down for how many years because of fucking butt connectors. I think this is what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So when I say butt connectors that I would use versus soldered, this is what I'm talking about. These ones will have a better hold on your wire than solder in the way that they're used. If I have to, and the only reason I would use these if I'm branching one wire out into multiple wires. So if I have one thicker gauge wire and I'm trying to split it off into 2 or 3, I use those. Other than that, I will replace a wire so that way it will run from one connector to the other. I don't want a splice in the middle of my wire unless I absolutely have to. So, yes, this is what I am talking about when I say using an uninsulated butt connector. This is the, because I have several spots. I'm going to have to use some of these where I have one bigger wire being split off into several smaller wires. But you won't see those little plastic ones that are like pink, blue, yellow, whatever. Won't use them. But like I said, there are some times wherever. But I'm also won't use one of those if I'm joining one wire into another wire. If I can, I will replace the whole wire. Wire is cheap enough. 40 cents a foot. I'll just replace the whole wire. You know? I mean, and these things, 500 of them for 12 bucks. You know, I can get a whole set of different ones here for 10 bucks. But like some of the bigger purchases I have to get is so I mean I can sit here and go through coming right off the battery, I'm going into a big fused what I think they call mega fuse distribution block. My American Auto wire harness comes with a 2 bus distribution block. It goes from the battery down to the starter, from the starter up to the distribution block. Distribution block spits it off between the alternator and the main fuse panel. I need to add an extra bank, so I'm going to make it a 3-gang. I'm going to run that 3rd bank off to a relay panel from Busman, which will be 5 mini relays or micro relays, 5 micro relays that'll run the sniper and the Hyperspark turn-on modules, turn-on signals, and that'll get triggered from a 12-volt keyed ignition. I'm running 2 fan relays, 1 for each of the front fans that are controlled by the sniper itself to turn on individually. And I'm running the fuel pump relay to turn on when I to turn on when that comes on. There may be one more that I might have to add, and I might have to change that setup down in the future. I would like to eventually put in an electric water pump in the car. And that is mainly just so that way if I want to be able to turn on the fans and the water pump when the engine's not running. So if the engine overheats and I want to shut the engine down, I would like to be able to have the water pump and the fans continue running to cool that engine down. More things to go wrong. Yes, you're right. But the thing is there's certain things I have to have in there. I have to have a relay to turn the fuel pump on. I have to have relays to turn the fans on. I have to the sniper and the Hyperspark, they both need a constant 12-volt keyed ignition source. If you remove the thermostat, it stays cool. And Brad.
No.
We know these Pontiac 400s, right? If you take the thermostat in them, do they still stay cool? If you're moving. No. Pontiac 400s run hot. Not overcomplicating things, pilot. Not with this. I have been all through the Holly Sniper forums and everything else. The things that I'm doing are bulletproofing it. You watch enough people's issues with these Holly Snipers, and you figure out why they have these issues. A lot of the times they have the issues because they don't run the main power directly to the battery.
Yep.
They run it to a fuse block. They run it to a distribution block. They run it to whatever, to the alternator. They need it to run the main power straight to the battery because the battery acts like a giant sponge and soaks up radio noise, which then does not pass it to the ECU. Why am I running everything off of relays? Well, A, I'm not running a 30 amp fuel pump directly off the freaking battery. Number 2, the sniper needs to be able to turn that fuel pump on and off. There is a negative trigger wire that the sniper uses. Technically, there is a relay built into the harness. I don't like where it puts it. It puts it directly, if I were to mount it to my firewall, I'd have to mount it directly behind my brake booster, because that's where the harness spits it out at. Trucks have a good radiator. I'm running a cold case aluminum radiator in the car with dual electric fans. Yes, right, Harvey, you're right. If you remove the thermostat, coolant circulates too quickly to pick up heat. Number 2, the engine then doesn't build up heat and it won't run at operating temperature. And considering that the Holly Sniper reads it reads block temperature, it reads air temperature to create its fuel map table. You could cause all kinds of issues. Number one, I can't put the carb on it. The carb that was on that car was not the right carb for that car. It was a carb off of my Chevy 350. It was good enough to get it to run at idle, but it would not run anything above idle. Two, the carb that is supposed to be on that car needs a complete rebuild. The butterflies, the shafts for the butterflies are so sloppy. You could play a whole musical number on them. Just in how much play is in between them. I don't. I guess I'm getting slightly frustrated. I'm gonna move us back around here so we look like we're looking at each other now that you're looking in the other direction, Brad.
Oh, sorry.
And it's not over complicated. There's nothing wrong with the Holly Sniper. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I am literally customizing the harness to run the harness where I want to break the wires out into the trunks where I want them to break out. Holly built that harness to be best for most users, generally Chevy small blocks. That harness was created when the only product they were making them for was the 350s. But again, I run a Pontiac 400. Everything's on the opposite side. My starter's on the opposite side of a Chevy 350. The battery's on the wrong side, even as what would have been in the Camaro. So I don't have an issue with what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm running everything off a relay so that way the Holly Sniper can control what it needs to control via its negative trigger wires. I'm making sure that the Holly Sniper is getting a consistent 12-volt source straight from the battery to turn on and off. I'm just using the old coil wire that then one new carb. Why am I doing this? For several reasons. A, I'm on YouTube. Making a video on putting a carb on a freaking Pontiac 400 is not going to get nearly the amount of views or whatever than I would if I were to just put a carb on it. Than doing the sniper stuff. It's called content. Yes. And number two, I don't want to run a carb. I want to run and drive this car. I want to cruise it. And I want something different. You know, I wanted to try the Sniper. And there's nothing wrong with what it is. Yes. Harvey, you're right. I wanted better fuel mileage. There's a lot of reasons. I've been at this project for, 3 years now. I weighed the pros and cons when I went to go get it. Number two, I can't just go out and go get a carburetor and throw it on that car. And I can't rebuild the stock one and just throw it on the car because the engine's not stock. The engine's got shaved heads. It's bored 30 over. It's got a more wild cam on it than that factory carb was designed for. So I'd still have to send the carb out to go get tuned. Just so that way it would run right on that engine. Where I don't have to do that with this. I can still get it tuned, but I don't have to send the whole freaking thing out to go get tuned. I can send them my data logs and somebody can tune them remotely and send me back a tune on a email file.
And all you gotta do is plug it in and download it to your phone.
I don't have a Chevy engine in my Pontiac. Literally, I mean, the other thing is I literally drove all the way down to Sweetwater, Tennessee to go get that engine. And I realize people might be pushing my buttons. That's fine. You know, I'm already on edge tonight. I almost didn't want to go live tonight because of last week. But yeah, no, like, I'm not complaining about the work that I'm doing with the wiring harness. That's stuff I enjoy. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy finding it. It just doesn't mean I'm going to put out videos consistently, which I think is where all this conversation started to begin with, about putting out consistent videos. The thing is, it's easy to make consistent videos when you're making small videos that don't cost a whole lot to make and don't take a whole lot of time to perform. Also, if I were to just put a carb on the thing, I'd have what? One video saying I bought a fucking carb and I installed it on my car. I'd spend almost close to $1,000 getting the carb rebuilt, getting it put in the car for one video. You know, doing this project has created a whole year's worth of content for me. Literally been making content this whole year on this process, and I'm still not done. So yes, I might spend a little bit more money, but I'm also spreading out the cost of that money over how many videos. So there's pros and cons, and like I said, the whole reason I started this YouTube channel was to offset the cost of building these cars. You know, plus I get to share my passion with somebody else. There's plenty of videos out there of people just slapping shit together and making it work. I made a comment about the last week we were talking about that. Or when you go back and you watch other YouTubers, and I'm not saying anybody here or whatever, but you go back and you look at some of the bigger YouTubers and you look at them putting cars together, and you go back and you get like the shots that they're not really showing you. Butt connectors holding things together, and I'm not talking like these butt connectors that I had up on screen. I'm talking about the fucking pick them up at your fucking Walmart butt connectors. You know, what was it?
Not stealable.
What was the girl that's got the other the Firebird formula that they did the LS swap in? It's like a maroon with a carbon fiber whole front clip. Lynn Skadavi, or it's like an L. Her initials are like LS. Liz something.
Red with like a black fiberglass front.
Yeah, she's getting pretty famous. She was she's been in the rounds with Vice Grip Garage and even
Salted.
Finnegan. Huh?
Salted. Finnegan.
What'd you say it was?
And Private.
Yeah, she was in with them, but she just she was showing like the stuff that they did on her car just to get it running for like the duct tape drags and shit like that, and how shady that car is. Liv Scafoli, whatever her name is, LIV Liv.
That's the FF.
IDI, yeah. Look at her video called Everything I Hate About My Firebird, and it will all be fixed. Look at that car. That car is a freaking nightmare. And it's all because of what they do, where they just slap shit together. Just to make videos. I don't want to be that. I want to show people how to do things right. I mean, look at my dashboard. How many people did I have complaining about how I was doing my dashboard? And then, oh, I should have just slapped, you know, whatever this or do that, or I would have just bought a cap or whatever. I wouldn't have the dashboard that I have right now and how it turned out. I've seen plenty of videos when I was looking about how to fix mine of all of these people that just slapped Bondo on it and then sanded everything down and spray painted it. You know, different other things. And the thing is that's not what I'm looking for. I want it to look nice. And so I take the extra time and I take the extra whatever to do it the way I want to do it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, none of you guys really got to look at the way that dash looks now. I've had pictures of it up, but that's different. See if I can find part 2 dash resto part 3. Those are pictures, video. I don't know if I have video of it completely done on here or not. I might have to go back and go and let's see if this is it. I mute that. Mute that. Mute it. Where's the volume? Bring this over here, shrink it. Share screen. Window. This one. Share. Can I get this to flip? Can I rotate this? I don't know if it'll let me flip it. Shrink the video this way. Anyway, like, I wouldn't have gotten this result. I mean, it looks damn near factory. That bubble is fixed. That bubble's no longer there. So I mean, I did things the way that I wanted it. And there's a reason why I do things the way, because I don't want to settle for something that could be better. So I'll take the extra time and I will do the things the way I want to do them, because it's what it's the end result of what I want. Yeah, it's an over. I don't like dash caps. I don't like that. It's not even the fact of looks. I don't want to reach up and touch my dash and feel plastic. You know, that's vinyl. It feels like vinyl because it is vinyl. You know, it's soft. The texture of it under your fingers is completely different. Well, yes and no. I mean, if I had to do that over, I probably would use expanding foam instead of the only because that's closer to what the factory would have used. There is a spot on that dash that's hard. Where the damage was. I didn't know of a better solution. I didn't think that the foam would hold up well, or that I would have been able to get it to look right underneath where the vinyl was. Because the rest of that dash is still got the original vinyl under it. The correct way to redo this dash is to replace all of the foam and vacuum form the vinyl into a mold. I don't have the ability to do that. But I did it the best way. It looks amazing. We'll see how it looks in like a couple years. But you can't tell where I made my fix unless you start literally squeezing the dash. Yeah, you're going to feel the hard spot where the Bondo is. But other than that, you're not going to be able to tell where that fix is. Let's see. Where is a picture of looking down? This one? Yeah. What can I open with? Um, so here's the top of the dash, and I don't know. Let me see if I can find the other picture of what that looked like before I fixed it. Um, all right, so that's it now. Let me shrink this here. Oh, where's the thing that I'm looking for? There it is. So this is the main area you're looking at. That's it now. You still got the body reveal. You got the little molding reveal. All of that stuff, right? Yeah, I don't have any tips on that, Harvey. I don't know. But anyway, so that was before. I mean, that's now. Where is it? Do I not have it open? I don't think I have it open. Okay, hold on. There we go. There you go. That was the damage that I was looking at before I fixed it. Now, I broke it out. That was all spider webbed and hard. As you can see, there's still more over here that I dug out. There was a bunch of other damage in other places. But like there's a reason why I'm picky. There's a reason why I did things the way that I did, and I think that the results speak for themselves. I mean, you look at that, and then you look at that, and you tell me. I mean, there's where the other bad spot was. It was all busted up along the back of here. There was a spot over here. There was a spot just under here. You can't see that in this picture, but this is where that hole was. Can't even tell it's there. It might, but my thing with the spray foam was, I was worried about where the old vinyl still is. Would you see the transition between where the old vinyl was and the top of the spray foam when I laid the new vinyl over top of everything? Was there going to be a noticeable place where the two joined? I was worried about there being a seam that you could see through the top layer of vinyl. I knew that if I used the Bondo, and I didn't use straight Bondo, I used the door glass, the stuff with the fiberglass inlaid in it. Because that's going to grab not only the substructure, but it's going to grab the foam, and it's going to grab everything a lot better and be a lot firmer. And I figured it would be less likely to crack over time. But yeah, my issue with the spray foam is I was worried about, I know it would fill in that void nicely. But when I laid the vinyl on top of it, was there going to be a noticeable seam where the edge of the spray foam stopped and the original vinyl started? And you would see that line when I sprayed it. And the other thing is, when I originally started it, I wasn't thinking about recovering the whole dash. I was originally going to just try to repair that damage, and when I first started, I also didn't have the big hole. I had cracks. So I was going at first I started just widening out the cracks big enough to fill the whatever, but that whole area was hard. That whole area was hard, and I couldn't cut it back far enough to where it would have been level. So I had to remove all of it. Once I had that big ass hole, yeah, spray foam probably would have been a better option at that point. But I had already had all of that stuff sitting here. And so I just used what I had. Yeah, it gets hard and it pops up. It curls up. And yeah, the foam underneath was all garbage. The vinyl itself was all hard and garbage. I cut it all the way back to where the vinyl was soft. So yeah, I mean, there was even still places I was finding as I was fixing the rest of the dashboard, and then I had to cut that part out. So any spot that was hard, not pliable, and was prone to cracking, I got rid of and I filled it in, and then I covered the whole thing with vinyl. And like I said, I don't regret it. I think it came out amazing. I think it almost looks better than it probably did factory. Because I don't know how soft these were from the factory, and this dash is really soft. Maybe they were really soft when they first came from the factory. The other thing is, the cigarette, what do they call it? The little cigarette ashtray thing. That's metal from the factory. It's not even vinyl. I recovered that in vinyl. The kick panel underneath of the steering column, that's plastic. It's not vinyl. It's vinyl now. Same with the glove box door. That's metal. It's vinyl now. So the whole front of the dash now is all vinyl. I have a picture of that. The whole thing is vinyl. So there is not a part of the front of this dash that is not vinyl now. This one? This one? This one? I took a picture of the whole front of the dash. There it is. Oh, it doesn't have any of the stuff in it. Damn it. I might have to go to some another page to see that. Images, photos. I know I took pictures of it. There it is. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. I don't want to share the whole window. There we go. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. So yeah, I mean, this is all vinyl. That's now vinyl, and this is all vinyl. It's all matches now. Llama Army joined the resistance. That's another shirt that I now have to think of. Yeah, it does. It feels like a premium interior. That's the point. I am going to eventually redo the center console, and all of the plastics in the car are going to get covered in vinyl eventually. Because I don't know, like the A posts in that car, they're metal. The part that goes across the top of the windshield, that's metal. Same with the one in the back. The one that, and all the rest of them are all plastic. They have vinyl print on them, but they're all plastic. Um, but yeah, I mean that like, I don't have another door to compare that to, but it looks so much better. Because I wasn't going to, but I threw the ashtray in the dash after I had the whole dash done, and you could tell it wasn't vinyl. It looked so out of place. Yes, your baby girl is showing. Need viewers, not merch. Hey, Pilot, it doesn't mean that I don't like creating merch. I still have to do my my blown mind shirt. Brad. Yeah, I'm over here. Hi.
Oh, sorry.
You're zoning.
Well, I'm looking through Facebook and found something very interesting up
Oh.
near my area.
Yeah, Pilot. She needs merch for her business. And the thing is yes, I need viewers, but to be honest, I can make way more money with merch. Oh yeah, I need an OnlyFans. Nobody wants to see that shit.
No.
Nobody wants to see that.
That's why I'm not on there.
I needed to drink a big drink for that one. Oh God. That might be. I would see. Even Jess says nobody wants to see that. Uh, but yeah, I have to create some merch for Jess's channel. I just have to. It's just a pain in the ass to use. Like, so I do my drawing on this, right? It actually has a display screen when it's on. It literally is a computer screen, right? So it's a digital piece of paper. But in order to use this right now, I have to take one of the connections from my monitors to use as that video source. Because one of these two monitors only has a HDMI input. The other one is HDMI and DisplayPort. My computer over here has 3 DisplayPort outputs and only one HDMI output. This tablet here only accepts HDMI. So for me to be able to use that tablet, I have to convert the monitor that is only HDMI. I have to convert it to a DisplayPort. I have to use an adapter, and or the adapter to the tablet, whatever. Or give Jess this monitor and go get another monitor that uses DisplayPort. One of the things. The cheapest way is to get the adapter. So that way I don't have to unplug my whole setup to be able to use the drawing tablet. Because it's a pain in the ass to unhook everything and reconfigure it just to use the tablet. So it's not like, so I can run 3 screens. I'm running 2 right now. If I had 3 DisplayPort screens, I can run all 3 right now. I can run 4. 3 DisplayPorts and 1 HDMI. I can run 4 screens if I want to. Technically, that tablet is a screen. I just the part that sucks right now is my one screen is only HDMI. I only have one HDMI output. The tablet's also HDMI. So I have to pick one of the two. I created these problems myself. How did I create this problem myself? A, the one monitor was given to me. This one over here was given to me by my brother. I got it because it's technically damaged. It's got one line of pixels that doesn't light up. So there's always a line down the screen in one spot. Doesn't bother me. I barely see it anymore. The other one that I picked up, I didn't realize it's a new monitor. I didn't realize that it was only going to be HDMI. HDMI is technically old technology. And I didn't even buy this, the drawing tablet, Jess did. So, I mean, it's just a matter of not creating my own problems. It's called coming up with a solution. I mean, that's kind of what I have to do my whole life. I don't have money to go and I've never had money to go out and be able to buy myself out of problems. I've always had to work with what I got and make the best of what I have. So normally, because I don't have the money to get what I need right the first time, I end up having to make things work. I've always had to make things work. Make do with what you got. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you call that creating my own problems, fine. I mean, technically, I created my financial problems. I had a kid with somebody that wasn't worth having a kid with. You know, a lot of the things that I've done, I thought I was doing the right thing at the time that I did them. I didn't know any better. You know, why do I have financial issues right now? Well, because I fell in love with somebody. I had a kid with them, and they turned out to be a bad apple. You know, sue me. You know, when I first put this whole computer together, everything here has been put together piece by piece because I couldn't afford to buy everything all at once. So yes, some stuff doesn't work with other stuff right out of the box. Same thing with this whole sniper thing. When I originally bought the sniper, I was just buying the sniper itself. Didn't know any better. Well, now I'm already into it, the sniper, and I realized that, oh wait, the sniper can control the timing if you have this, this, and this. I didn't know I was going to have to wait a year and a half to get the fucking distributor because COVID hit. You know, it's just, I mean, you could say it's creating my own problems, but who in life doesn't? You know, unless you literally have the money at your disposal to get what you want the first time. And I don't. I never have. Never had money like that. I have nice things because I bought things that weren't nice and I made them nice. It's just the way I am. I mean, I bought this computer that I'm working with right now. I bought it in pieces. I bought a piece here, bought a piece there. This computer evolved into what it is. Because if you remember the first time I built this computer, it was not fast enough to do the things that I needed it to do. Because I couldn't afford to buy the parts that I needed the first time I built it. Once I had it up and running, yeah, I upgraded parts here and there to make it faster and to do with the things I needed to do. Same thing with the car. You know? I'm not upset. Explaining, not upset. I think people get confused with that. Sometimes they think that I get upset. I don't. I just like to explain myself. I like to, I want people to understand where I'm coming from and why I've made choices that I have. You know, sometimes you got to make choices out of necessity and not necessarily out of convenience. Same thing, like I said, with this Holly Sniper thing. It's been an evolution. if I had the ability to do things over now, there are some things I wouldn't have bought. There are some things that I would have bought right away. Um, I bought things because I thought that's what I needed to buy. Let's see, like I bought a wiring kit for the fans for the cold case radiator with the two fans. If I would have known that I wasn't going to use half of the things that came in that wiring kit, because it came with two relays, it came with a thermostat, and it came with the pigtails for the fans themselves. The only thing I really need out of that is the pigtails for the fans. I'm not using the relays because I'm putting all the relays into a relay box using smaller relays than the big chunky ones that it comes with. I don't need the thermostat because the Holly Sniper has a thermostat and it controls and turns the fans on and off. You know, that kit was made for if you were going to run those fans as a standalone system. I don't need to run it as a standalone system. I have the Sniper, which can precisely control whether those fans are on and off compared to the temperature. So I could have saved myself money by not buying those. What's really funny now is they now have a harness out there for the Holly Sniper stuff that incorporates all their harnesses into one. I don't have a separate harness for the Hyperspark, a separate harness for the Sniper, a separate harness for the distributor. Though technically I'd probably tear that harness apart and make it my own as well either. But the other cool thing is now they have a distributor out there that you don't even need the ignition control box. Everything's inside the distributor. So I wouldn't have had to find a place to hide the ignition control box. Basically a 6AL for people that don't understand what that is. Like the MSD 6AL. That's what this thing is, except for it's, you know, made specifically for the Holly Sniper. But yeah, like there are things that I would have changed, things that I wouldn't have bought, or I would have bought right away, or that I would have taken into consideration before buying. But I'm already kind of, what do they call it, like balls deep into it. I'm too deep to turn around and go back. I've modified my intake to work with the Holly Sniper already. Well, yes, hindsight is 2020. You're correct. If I could see the future and I met a certain someone, I would have just turned around and walked the other way instead of fucking following through that path. You know, but can't change the past. You just got to make do with what you got. Oh, but no, Jesse, you're getting close to the cat. I don't know who hit top. Oh, it was you, Brad. Did you up there?
Yeah, I did.
Are you up there? You're in. Oh yeah, you're in fifth.
Top five.
You're not the person I would have walked away from.
Nope.
It'd have been the first one, and the second one. But yeah.
Hey, I'm in the same boat as you guys.
Oh boy.
The rewrite will pass. There's two that you wouldn't be with.
Well, yeah. Yeah, considering I don't even get to see the people that, you know, are the reason why I'm still bound to those people. But anyway, you have plenty more money to be able to freaking. That was a drop in the bucket for you. It's 17 million.
Money right now
Huh?
for the fun of it.
Do what?
She's throwing money right now for the fun of it.
Well, yeah. Let's see. She's got It's $17 million. 17 million points.
Yeah.
1,000. 10,000 points is nothing. Oh. I mean, geez, Jesse's been sitting here freaking gambling all freaking day. He's only made up, what, 1 million points? Not even, maybe half a million? There you go. He just won 30,000. He just wants a refund. Uh, but yeah, I guess, I mean, to go back to what Pilot said about being overcomplicated. Is it overcomplicated or just knowing what I want? I mean, yeah, like I said, I could go with how it was and I can screw those bulky, like I don't know if you've seen the size of those relays. What they call mini relays. They're huge, especially when they're all in their own individual holders. I mean, if I were to line them up on my firewall, that would be like almost 8 or 9 inches across for 5 relays. Versus I can tuck them all away in one box. And those relays are only like an inch. They're like an inch by half inch. I think the whole relay box is only like 5 inches wide. Like 5 inches by 2.5 inches with all the fuses already in it. It's not big. Yeah, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if Jess would do too well in jail. Either that or the people that are stuck in a cell with her wouldn't be doing very well. I don't know. You've met Jess. I'm not sure if Jess would do very well in jail or if the people she's stuck with would be doing very well.
Me? I've never met her.
Oh, you did?
Nope. That was Justin that came over when
Oh,
they
that's
dropped
right.
your Ebert trains off.
And you weren't there when we did when we did your dad's car.
Nope.
I have to agree with that. She is generally very giving. I am not spoiled, I swear. Lies. All lies. Ugh. I'll hear about that later. But yeah, I mean, like, there are reasons why I made all of the choices with this build. And again, they may be wrong, they may be right. Am I making things more complicated than they need to be? Could be, but there's a reason why. You know, I don't want to see a bunch of wire groups going everywhere. You know, I don't want to see 6 harnesses running next to each other down my firewall. So if I can combine them all into one, I'm going to. You know, if I can make something that's purposely lengthed for my car versus something that is generic for any car, why wouldn't you do that? Why would I want a bunch of coiled wires sitting in a freaking corner because it's extra? You know, why do I want to be stuck placing something somewhere just because that's how long the wire is?
Yep.
I mean, honestly, I don't have enough wire in that harness to run the way that they want me to run it and make it to the battery. I also have a cat with no ears. It's got no ears. I get her scratching and stuff.
Don't hear?
Huh?
Like, see no evil.
I don't
Speak
have
no
a see
evil,
no
hear-
evil. I don't have a see no evil, and I don't gotta speak no evil. I've just gotta hear no evil. It hears nothing.
Yep.
Yes, I did. I'm not complaining about it. Just because I commented about it doesn't mean I was complaining. I was saved the kitty with no ears because it was destined to not be saved. I saved it. I took it in. But anyway, yeah, I mean, like I said, I am modifying what I am modifying. Yes, it's making it more complicated. But it just like the dashboard, it's more work now. It'll look better when it's done. The fox with the chipped tail. She's talking about. She's talking
This
about
one.
that. It's got a chip in the one corner that you can't. That's not focusing on it. I don't want to focus there. See, it's got a chip in the top.
Nice.
But it's one of them nine-tailed fox things.
Nice.
These are just basically scratch and dent from stuff that she gets that stuff in bulk, and sometimes some of them are damaged. You know, when you get a whole bag of them, you know, they clack together and it gets chipped, and she'd either sell it as a scratch and dent or, you know, give it to me. But like I said, I don't even know if there's anybody even in here still. Oh no, we're still doing pretty good. I may make things complicated for myself, but at the end of the day, 9 out of 10 times, the things that I make extra complicated, that's what sets them apart when they're done. Whether it's a drawing or my models. I mean, I don't even know, where is that one? Is it in the box? I don't know if I put it back in the box or not. It is in the box. I don't know where the... But I mean, you got things like this car. If you've seen the pictures of this car on Instagram, you know that the whole front grille, I scribed out the molded in plastic grille, and I got a wired meshed grille that went behind it, so it looks like a factory grille. You can see through it. You can see to the radiator. You know, all of the bumpers, which again, I don't have them sitting here because I think they're in a bin over there. All of the bumpers, I made bumper bolts that are supposed to be there. If you look at a classic Chevelle, it's got them chrome capped carriage bolts that hold the bumper on. There was there was nothing of that in the mold for these cars. It's just a smooth bumper, and it looked wrong. I know that those carriage bolts are there. And without them being there, it looked silly. So I made them out of pinheads. You know, I took a pin, and I polished the end of the pinhead, and I glued the pinhead through the bumper where they go, and they look right. You know, again, it's one of those things. Yes, I might make things more complicated, but then again, that's what makes it different than everyone else's. That's what makes it special. That's what makes it. That's going. I don't even know what the word is. It's what It's what makes my work stand above somebody else's. That attention to detail. You know, that time and effort put into it to make it just the fit and finish better. You know, I don't have to make it that complicated. I choose to. So I guess you can also say that's creating my own problems, maybe. But if I wanted to just do something to do something, then what'd you do? Just lose?
Huh?
Why are you shaking your phone?
Cause this is my old phone that I shattered, like, pretty much shattered the screen.
Mm.
And it has a mind of its own. It'll start scrolling and flashing.
Yeah. Mine does that because of the case that's on it. But I did also, I don't know if you can see it, there is a crack all the way across the front of the screen. After just fixing it, I cracked it, the whole front of the screen, like a week later.
Lovely.
I was so irritated. Just fixed the whole complete shattered back glass, and I shattered the screen, or cracked the screen like a week later. By the way, to replace that front screen, I have to take the back half of the phone apart again.
Lovely.
So it's like undoing all of the work I did just to fix, whatever. So that's why I haven't fixed it, because, like, screw it. I plan on getting I want to get the new Samsung 23 when it comes out. I'm just waiting for it. Either that or I'll get the 22 when the 23 comes out, because the 22 will drop in price. But they don't make the 22 I want anymore, which is the 22 1 terabyte. The 22 Ultra 1 terabyte memory. And I need the memory because recording videos takes up a shit ton of memory in your phone.
Oh, yeah.
And considering I use my phones to record videos, I need the memory space. And the new phones don't have a spot to put like the little memory chips in. Those little memory cards. The new phones don't have those. They're like iPhones now.
Yeah, all built in.
Yeah, you can't upgrade them. So whatever you buy the phone with, that's what you got. Now, granted, you can have online storage, but whatever it uploads to the cloud or whatever, it's not going to be the same quality as what's on the phone.
No.
It compresses it.
Yeah, luckily the old phone and my new phone are the exact same model.
I have several different phones. I have the Samsung 7. I have the 5, the 7, the 9, which is what I have now. And so I have three different ones. My last 3 phones I still have. So I use them all for recording.
Nice.
Well, it's like having 3 different cameras.
Oh,
Except
yeah.
for the older ones are getting quite beat up. But yeah, like, I don't know. I recorded some video. Actually, the last like 3 weeks, I have gone out and recorded some stuff. I've realized, like, going through and just watching it. Like, I first started out, I recorded a video. I laid all of the wires out on the dash, the backside of the dash, to see where they ran and whatever. And then I realized that before I ran that, I needed to add the defrost so that I can use the rear defrost in my car. I had to add that. I had to add the HVAC controls, because the ones that come in the harness are for a standard non-AC car, which they don't meet up to my the back of my control panel at all. Completely different connectors. So I have to rebuild my stock one with new wires so that way I can use it. Same with the defrost. Power windows, power locks, I'll deal with that later. But I had to figure out where I wanted to put them into the harness now, which I'm going to I have some accessory ports that I'm going to put them in. But I don't need to do that right now. I can do that later after it's in the car. But I needed to figure all this stuff out now before I put the harness in the car, because it's easier to see and work with it when the harness is laying on the table versus up underneath of the dash. I don't feel like playing car yoga and trying to, put a wiring harness in. So I needed to figure all of that stuff out. So I stopped making that video. And I pulled out all of the stuff. And the other stuff is I needed to know where the sniper stuff was going to go. Like, did it have to come into by reading the instructions, I thought some of the wires would have to come into the cabin and connect into stuff inside the cabin. Like, there's an accessory branch that comes off of the American Auto wire harness. And I thought I was going to have to tie stuff into that branch. Several weeks later, I have found ways to not do that. But I didn't know that at the time. Just things that I have learned by visually taking apart the American Auto wire harness and knowing where things ran and where things got power from, and where it sent that power. It's like the coil wire that comes out from the inside harness goes through the firewire bulkhead and goes out to where the distributor would have been. I don't need that. I don't need that wire. That's a 12-volt ignition source, right? Keyed on 12-volt ignition. I don't need it. It's not going to go to the distributor anymore because that's getting its power from the Hyperspark, right? In fact, it's not even a factory distributor anymore. You know, it's basically a Hall effect distributor. It's gutted on the inside. It's nothing but it still works as a distributor as far as the coil signal goes in through the center and then out through each of the plug wire spots. But the whole bottom side of what a distributor is, the whatever you call it, the little thing that sits around the shaft that tells the coil when to fire, and that little module and stuff that's in there, none of that stuff's in there. It's basically a glorified crank position sensor now.
Nice.
The bottom half of it is nothing but a crank position sensor. The whole top half of it is obviously still works like a distributor. It doesn't have vacuum advanced. It doesn't have any of that. Because the sniper does all of that. The sniper controls the timing. It tells the plug when to fire. It tells it to, it moves the roll to it does whatever it does to control timing. But it doesn't work like an old distributor does. It doesn't have a coil wire like my old one's an HEI. So it's got the coil that sits on top of the distributor. Obviously, my coil's not there anymore. It has a standalone coil. So the wire that would have ran to the coil and the negative that would have ran back to the tack, right? I don't need those where they were originally located. That tack wire I'm going to take out. So the Holley Sniper has a tack wire. Comes out of the Holley Sniper and you're supposed to put it up to your tack. I have a wire that runs out of my fuse panel to run to the distributor in the old system. I'm going to de-pin that wire, put a pin on the end of the wire coming out of the sniper, right? That directly goes straight into the terminal for where the tack would have came out. So basically, I'm not fusing two wires together in the middle somewhere. I'm just going to run it straight to it. Either that or I'm going to take the wire that's coming from... I actually think what I probably end up doing this way. I'll probably end up taking the wire that comes from the car harness, the American Auto Wire harness, and terminating that into where the tack wire came out of the sniper harness. So just replace the sniper pin and then just plug that straight into the connector. Because I think that wire is longer. I think the wire coming out of my American Auto Wire harness is longer than the sniper one. But either way, one way or the other, I can do that. Now, I might do that and my tack still not work, which means I need to get a conversion kit that converts the signal coming from the sniper to something that my tack can read. It all depends on how those tacks worked in the Trans Am back then. Whether it can read the signal or not. And I'm full of stuff like that. Of modifying both the harnesses to work. But anyway, so I went through and I started putting in, like, I didn't run the starter because I know where the starter is going to go. But I went and figured out where the initial control box was going to go. Figured out where the coil pack was going to go. Figured out where all of my wires were going to run because I figured out that I needed to figure that stuff out now. Because if a wire is too short, or if it's too long, because either way, if it's too short, I got to replace the whole wire. Right? Got to buy a wire that's longer length. So that way it
Yep.
reaches without me having to splice in another wire somewhere in the middle. Because I know that's going to cause problems down the road when everything's all wrapped up in a nice pretty loom and I can't get to it. 2, if it's too long, well, then I'm either going to have a nice coiled wire hanging somewhere that's zip tied to something, or I have to shorten it, which means I got to replace either the terminal on the one end or the terminal on the other end. 3, if I have 2 wires that are for the same thing, they need to get terminated somewhere. So you got a wire coming out of the American Auto wire harness that leads to something, that leads to, whatever. And then I have the same wire on the sniper end that needs to terminate. Well, again, I don't want to put a butt connector in the middle. I want one wire to run all the way to the other end. So either using the American Auto wire or using the sniper wire. Or if I have to, if neither of them reach where they need to be, I might have to replace the whole wire and use something different. So, needed to know what terminals I needed to replace to shorten or lengthen wires, what wires I needed to replace to shorten, to lengthen a wire, what wires I didn't need that I could possibly use for the other aforementioned thing. If I got a wire that I don't need that's, yay freaking long, it's long enough to make that connection, that I don't need all of it, then that saves me money. That's a wire I don't have to replace. I just have extra somewhere over here that I can repurpose. Or like the negative and power wires coming from the sniper that I know are not long enough. Well, I got to remove that whole wire. When I remove that wire, I'm going to have an extra black and red, like, I think it's 12 gauge. That's like 4.5 feet long. If I need 12 gauge wire somewhere else, like the busman fuse panel where I got to jump from the fuse to the relay and then out of the relay into a connector, I could use it there instead of having to buy that length of wire. But I still need to replace the terminals. And I needed to know all of that stuff. So I had to stop doing what I was doing, and I originally started trying to put everything where it needed to go and see if I had enough wire to run where I wanted it to, what wires I did need, which ones I didn't need, what can I remove from the system completely. And I was doing that. That's when I made that components list, the shopping list. And I was halfway through the shopping list when I realized that, wait a minute, how many wires are in that I don't need at all? And then there was like, how many wires are just too short? So I'm now in the process of, I bought nylon rope, right? Because I watched a couple videos and they're like, we use nylon rope to make a mock harness, right? To determine what length of wires we need to make our harness. So I'm going to go out there, I'm going to mock up the whole harness out of rope, and then I'll have my lengths, because then I could just measure the rope. And I know that to run a wire from here to here is going to be this long.
Yep.
Instead of me trying to put the harness, because that's what I did. I originally put the harness in the car and was trying to measure stuff. It sucked. It didn't work. I just ended up with wires everywhere, and I still couldn't measure anything because I'd have to take it back out to measure it.
Yeah.
So here I can just run everything. I can run the wire. I can run the rope from point A to point B, and everywhere where there's a branch, I can tape on a new piece of rope. Right? And the rope will represent like a bundle of wires. Because I did try to use I have some speaker wire, the 2 wire that's stuck together in the middle. I tried using that, but the problem with that is it's too thin and it bends too easy. It doesn't bend like a group of wires would bend. And it was also really floppy and everything else, so I don't think that it worked very well. Did you create a sub harness for things like the sniper audio, etc.? Could you create a rear body harness, for example, that can be connected and disconnected to? That is all part of what I was trying to do. Okay, so the sniper harness is technically a sub harness, but it's not a very well thought out sub harness. It has the fuel wire, the fuel pump wire is one continuous wire all the way from the sniper all the way to the back of the car. No brakes. Right? Now, let me put it this way. I can actually bring that up. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Reverse park instructions. Is it this one? It is this one. Okay, so I can actually bring this up. Okay, so this is. Let me shrink this a little. This is actually the instruction book for the American Auto Wire. It's already broken down into sub harnesses. So this is like the dash harness. Okay, this is the left side of the dash harness. This is the right side of the dash harness. Okay, so that's one sub harness. Part of what I need to connect into for like the heater controls and all that will be part of this harness. I am trying to make sure that anything that I do now has brakes or, you know, like connectors in the same parts where this harness breaks out in. So that's the main dash harness. This is all little sub harnesses in that dash harness. The gauge cluster harness, that's for aftermarket gauges. I'm not running those yet, but I have all the stuff if I want to put aftermarkets in. This is the stock harness. This would be the stock gauge cluster. This is, yeah, these are the gauges I have. So it shows you where all the pins out are, what you put in, all of that stuff. It does have, this is the rear body harness. It does have a mid harness that connects from here to here, right here. Which I'm going to be doing. So like when I do the fuel pump, I already have it marked on my physical copy of this instruction sheet. Let's get past all this. I need to get back to the engine stuff. All right, so when I do my fuel pump, I'm going to have my fuel pump go in this cavity right here. So I'm going to put my fuel pump in this cavity for the bulkhead, right? And then that'll go through the firewall, and it'll pop out the backside of the fuse panel. Not the backside of the fuse panel, but the backside of the inside bulkhead half of that bulkhead. And then I'll just run it with the rear main body harness, and wherever there's a connector for the rear main body harness, I'll have a connector for the fuel pump, so I can take it apart there. Same thing with my radio. When I do the radio, that's why I had that's part of what was taking me so long with the Excel spreadsheet. So with the radio, this harness, is it in this part? I can't tell. No, it's up here. So these are the radio wires here that come out of the stock harness. Well, not stock, the American Auto Wire harness. So these, with the connection of the speaker wires, I'm going to bring them all into a connector. So if I were to look at it out of the back of the radio, you have the radio harness that comes out of the radio. I'm going to terminate all of those pins into, I think, a 16 pin. Hold on, I have it here. Yeah, a 16-way connector. So all of the pins that come out of the back of the radio are going to go into a 16-pin connector. Out of that 16 pin connector, I think 8 of them will get terminated into the stock harness. The other 8, which would be my speaker wires, are going to get split into 2 4-pin connectors that'll be able to be obviously disconnected there. 4 of them will run down to the front speaker, and 4 of them will run all the way to the back speakers. And they'll all be disconnected, so if I need to pull out the center console, all I got to do is disconnect the speaker wire plus whatever wires run into the center console from the main harness. And then I could pull the whole center console out without having to rip the whole harness apart or disassembling the stuff inside the center console to take the harness, to take the center console out. All the center console wiring will stay in the center console. But yeah, that's like I said, that's another thing of what I was trying to do with the figuring out where everything went, because I needed to figure out, where am I putting these connectors in? Where are the wires going to run? You know, whatever. Wouldn't I worry about getting the car running first? Pilot, right now there is no wiring in the car at all. There is no wiring in the car. I am working on the harness now. Now is the time I need to make those decisions about what I am doing with the harness while the harness is out of the car. No, I'm not buying a radio or the tunes right now, but I need to make the provisions to put it in now, because it's going to be easier to modify the harness while it's out of the car now than it is to modify it while it's up in the dashboard, and the dashboard is in the car. It does not make sense to sit here and put this whole harness in the car and not terminate these, not make those decisions now. The car's not going anywhere. The end goal is not to just get the car running. I mean, I know the car runs. I know the car runs now. I know that the sniper will work. I don't need to slap everything in just to make sure that it works. I need to make sure that the stuff that's going in the car now is going where it needs to go, so I don't have to keep pulling it apart. I don't want to throw everything in the car just to have to pull everything back out of the car to make it right. Maybe that's me being weird, but you know, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I still have to terminate those radio connections somewhere. So knowing what connectors I need and whatever, but I mean, I also have a radio now. I have the connections, I have the radio. I mean, I need to put that connector in now. The radio side of that connector I can do whenever, because it'll pop out of the car. You know, but I need to know where everything is running, and it's gonna be easier to terminate those plugs while it's on my workbench than it is to terminate those plugs when I'm playing fucking car yoga inside the car with seats and a transmission hump and a shifter in my back. You know, where would you rather you freaking try to crimp connectors and all of that stuff at? I'd rather do it at my workbench than inside the car. You know, I mean, that just makes sense to me. And like I said, the whole harness is outside the car. I just posted an Instagram post today, which I know you don't see Instagram. Do I have that one up here? No, I don't have that up here yet. Um, I mean, can't really see it that well, but I don't know if I can make it any bigger. This is what I'm working with. I mean, everything is out of the car. There is not a single wire in that car right now. So now is the time to figure out where everything is going and where it's going and how it's going to get there and where I want a break in the wire, where I want, because the other thing is none of these, if you can see, none of these wires have loom on them. So I need to decide now where those branches are going to be, where the wires are going to come out and where they're going to go so I can wrap them. I can't once the wires are wrapped, once the harness is set, I can't it's going to be such a pain in the butt to take it apart to change it. I need to make those decisions now of where things are going to go and all of that. I need to make that decision now. Because once I wrap the loom, once I put the harness, once I wrap the harness, once I decide where the breakouts are going to be, where, these 5 wires are going to split out of the harness and go to where they're going to go, once I decide that, and once I put it up in the car, chasing wires is going to be a pain in the ass. It's easy to follow the wires now because they're all separated. They're all just spaghetti. So I've done that. You can see it kind of on the floor back here. That's the old harness. I tore that whole harness apart. Where is it? There. I tore the original whole harness apart, cutting through all of that tape and conduit and everything else to find out where wires went. Because the original harness and the new harness are not built the same. Everything kind of terminates where it's supposed to, but they're not built the same. Where the old school wire ran is not where the new school wire runs. Yes, it ends up in the same place, but it wasn't run the same. So I had to figure out where the old school one got its power from for certain things, or where it grounded out. So that way, when I put the new stuff in, I knew where stuff went. And all of that stuff takes time. Like I said, I don't have I have a wiring diagram for the old harness, but I don't have a wiring diagram for the new one. I showed you what I had. I just have those pictures, that instruction booklet with the pictures, which is great. It shows you where everything goes, but that's half the picture. It didn't tell me the hows, the whats, and the whys. It just showed me the point blank front picture. And because the fact that I'm not putting this American Auto Wire harness into a stock Firebird, it's got to get modified. I'm not putting the Sniper again into a stock car. I'm putting it into a car with a whole brand new harness. And the reason I replaced the harness was because of all of the problems with this harness. I had butt connectors. You can see, no, that's the new harness up there. Not sure if I can see any butt connectors in this picture. But there was cut wires, there was butt connectors, there was all kinds of stuff. And so it took me a while. There you go. There's the new harness all laid out. This was before I decided to go to a different direction and put the new stuff in that I needed. But yeah, like this is what I'm working with. This is all this wiring here that's over here in this bundle. That's all the wire that I need to make new. I have to replace the wires to put them because I didn't get that stuff in the new kit. The new kit didn't come with any of these wires, and I have to make them. Granted, this kit saved me a lot of work because 98% of that wiring harness is there. Yes, wire lengths change as they go through each bend. The wires on the outside of the bend, yes. Now granted, like I said, the American Auto wire harness is very well engineered. It gives me lots of extra wire to terminate them where I need them to be. I don't think I have to lengthen any of the wires in the American Auto wire harness. I just have to shorten them, which it's all designed to be that way. But the sniper stuff, I got a lot of stuff that's not long enough, a lot of stuff that's too long and already terminated, so I have to take it apart to shorten it. But yeah, I mean, this down here, that's part of the sniper. A lot of these wires are way too fucking long, which is fine because they're not terminated. I can terminate them where I need to. But this one here, I don't think I can make it any bigger. I want to zoom in right here. That's one of the that's the fuel pump relay that's built into the harness. That right here is the plug that goes into the sniper. And the problem is the length from there to here only reaches to my firewall. And I don't want that on the firewall. The whole point of this build is I wanted everything to look stock. I wanted to have the modern fuel injection, but look stock when you looked under the hood. You know, I didn't want it to look like I'm running a bunch of new stuff. I didn't want to see an ignition control box. I didn't want to. I'm not cutting them to length. Whenever I'm measuring these wires, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but all of my measurements are leaving like 5-6 inches of extra wire. Whenever I break down a length of wire, I'm normally overestimating by about 5 or 6 inches, which should be more than enough extra wire to make sure that I have some slack in the wire and whatever. So when I'm doing this harness, the one end will get terminated and the other end will not get terminated until I have everything where I need it, if that makes sense. But like this harness here that I have right here, this is the one that has the negative wires that come out of it to turn on the fans, turn on the fans and some other stuff. With where I'm putting the relay box, I think that they're almost too short. So I might have to run an extra foot, which means replacing that whole wire, because I'm not going to sit here and graft an extra wire at the very end. But it might also not be, because out of the fuel relay. Okay, so I have pictures of that. Where is it? Fuel relay. Okay, fuel relay. All right, so this is the relay box that I'm doing. These are the trigger wires that go into the relay to turn on the relays. These are all the power wires coming out of the relay box to go to their respective terminations. There's going to be a connector here that I can disconnect the relay box, and there's going to be a connector here that I can disconnect the relay box. So all of the wires coming from the engine are going to get terminated here at a connector. These wires here are going to be separate. Same with here. All the wires coming in are going to be, there's going to be a connector here. All the wires coming in are going to get terminated here. And then this is going to be its own separate harness just for this component here. So they may not be too short. because like I said, I'm going to have connectors. I'm going to have new wires running from here to here. I am trying to put connectors in wherever I feel that it would be advantageous to do so. So like if I ever have to work on this relay box, I'd like to disconnect the whole thing. I don't want to have to sit here and try to, I mean, otherwise I'd have to pull the whole harness out to work on the relay box, and it doesn't make any sense. So I have connectors that are going to sit there. And I have that the part of that sheet that I was working on is including all of that. What connectors I'm buying, what terminals they need, you know, what does all those individual parts need to work? So yes, I might be overcomplicating it, but I'm overcomplicating it to make it easy for me in the future if I have to work on this. Not to mention, I'm documenting everything. So if I have to go back to this later and I'm trying to diagnose a problem, I have all of this paperwork that says where I ran wires to, where does this wire start and where does it end? You know, because I don't have a wiring diagram for any of this. I mean, this is as close as I have as a wiring diagram as I got. You know, so I had to figure out what wires do I have, where do they start, where do they go, what type of connector do they go into, what type of terminal does that connector need, you know, what gauge, what color wire am I using. I had to figure all that out, and it takes time. Okay, I just got something. I didn't even see what it was. Oh, I got a... Oh, thank you for the follow, Harvey. I don't know if you caught that, Brad.
Run,
Huh?
run, little zombie, run!
Exactly. I was like, what the hell? I haven't heard that sound in a while. I forgot that it tells me if somebody follows the Facebook page while I'm on live.
That was awesome.
I wish I had it for the Instagram, the Facebook. I have it for if you subscribe to the channel that has that V8 engine that pops up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I may overthink things, but it's because I don't want to have to deal with issues later. So like I said, the spreadsheet that I made, that's so that way if I have to go back to anything, I know where everything goes. Yes, exactly. The first time I have a problem, I will be able to go back, and I'll, even if everything's all wrapped up, I'll know what is what and where it goes. Because I'll have it all documented. I still technically have to go back through and document the American Auto Wire harness itself. I have not done that. Just the stuff that I'm modifying or changing, I have documented. You know, and that's the other thing is like, I'm adding USB ports to the car. It's a 79 Trans Am. It never had anything like that. And I could just use the cigarette lighter and plug in one of those power outlet adapter things. But again, this is me being me. I don't want one of those wires hanging down out of my classic dashboard to charge a modern phone. You know, I'd rather not. So I'm going to have 2 USB ports in the glove box and 2 USB ports in the center console. So if you need to plug your phone in, they're still at a convenient place, but they're tucked out of the way so you don't see them, you know, at the casual glance. That's a whole complete custom harness. USB was a misspelled word, yes. But, you know, that's a whole new thing that was that wasn't thought of before. We both deleted him. So I have to find where I can put that into the harness where it's not going to overload a fuse, and where it makes sense. And again, gonna have to do that now before too much later, because it's gonna have to run along with the dashboard harness. Finally finished that Guinness. How long has it been? 3 hours. It's taken me 3 hours and 30 minutes to finish that Guinness, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
That just goes to show you I've not done much. I've done much excite, less relaxing.
Yep.
So yeah, again, method to my madness. It may seem weird, it may seem whatever, but I have to me I have reasons. Whether or not somebody else agrees with those reasons is a different story. I have reasons for it. So like everything that comes out of that relay box goes directly into a connector, and then any place where it's going to go through a firewall or interact with something that needs to be removed, there will be a connector, so I can unplug it. It's something that the sniper harness didn't include, or it included way too many. There is, let's see, can I find that? Hypersmart instructions, there we go. Oh wow, it even changed it, nice. Can I zoom in on this? Let's get rid of that. So like here is a basic overview of the sniper's wiring harness. It has a connector that goes from here. It looks a lot bigger here, but it's kind of tiny. So you have the twisted purple and green wires that run from here, and they go to the Hyperspark distributor. So they come out of here. This wire here alone is almost 2.5 feet long. Did she lose again?
Yeah.
So this wire coming out right here, this is the 7-pin, I think. Yeah, that's the 7-pin. It's 2.5 feet long. I lay this on top of the engine. Not only does it reach the firewall, but I could go halfway down the transmission tunnel. Right? That goes into another connector. This connector is pretty long. That has all this stuff in it. But we're going to talk specifically about this. Number one, this yellow one I can get rid of. We don't need it. So I can just depin that, take it out of the connector altogether. This purple and green wire comes out, is about 10, 12 inches long, goes into a connector. Then it goes into a different connector that's also 10 or 12 inches long, into a third connector that goes into the Hyperspark. And she's bored. I don't understand why I have 3 connectors to travel, 3 connectors with almost 4 or 5 feet of wire to go a foot. Like literally, the distributor's right behind this thing. I don't have far to go. So I'm gonna just eliminate the wire, this connector altogether. I'm gonna have it come out of this plug through the twisted bit, and then I'm gonna cut this connector off, and I'm gonna terminate these wires directly into the back of this connector. You're still gonna have that break where I can take it apart, but I don't need this intermediate one. And this pink wire only needs to go like 4 inches, and I'm gonna terminate it into this one. Actually is gonna go all the way, this wire here and the wire coming out of the Hyperspark are going to terminate in the relay box. So I'm going to definitely have to run longer wire for that, but they terminate to the relay box. because the relay box is going to take place of this keyed ignition. So I don't even need this connector here at all. It just could go bye-bye. I could care less. I don't need it. Half of the wires coming out of this 10 pin, I'm only using, I think, like 4 or 5 of them. So I got this big ass bulky connector again with a super long lead into the Holley Hypersmart, the sniper, and then I only want this wire, this connector long enough to reach the firewall. Once at the firewall, then it can go wherever. Yep, wide range fit. That's exactly it. Which is why I'm modifying it. That like I said, that's the whole reason I'm modifying this. I'm taking the generic fit and I'm modifying the harness to fit my car. So things are just long enough to to run where they need to go with a little bit of slack. And that's the way I want to run it. And not to mention, like I said, I'm not putting some things where people generally would. Some people wouldn't have a problem mounting this control box here. They'd have no problem mounting it onto the wheel well or the firewall or somewhere else in plain sight. Whereas me, I want to hide it. This is not stock equipment. It doesn't look anything like stock equipment. I don't want it to be the first thing you see when you pop open the hood. When I pop open the hood, I want you to see the engine, the shaker, and all of the factory-ish looking parts that there can be. And the rest I'm hiding. The coil, I'm hiding it underneath of the air cleaner back on the firewall. So it's going to go back on the firewall behind the distributor, and you're not going to see it right away as long as I have the shaker air cleaner on it. Obviously, if I take the shaker off, you're going to see it. But with the shaker on, like when you first pop open the hood, so if I'm sitting at a car show or something and I have the hood popped open, I don't want the first thing you see is all this new technology. I want it to look like it's a classic car running a carburetor. But yet, I can sit there and remote start it with a button. That's the other cool thing about that, Brad. You still there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still here.
Once I get this all hooked up and going, I can turn this car on with a remote start.
Nice.
So I could be sitting there at a car show or whatever, and somebody likes it or whatever, and I could hit a button and it'll fire up on its own.
Okay, one question I got. With the fuel injecting on top of the intake, now does that still hook by a cable to your pedal, or
Yep. It is
it
is a regular it is a regular, it looks, the Holley Sniper, especially this Quadrajet one, works and looks like, well, it doesn't work and look like, it functions like a carburetor. All of the linkages are just like they are on your Quadrajet.
Okay.
I don't have to make any different, I can use my factory linkage, like the little brackets that hold the everything.
Yeah.
It puts it all in the factory locations. Because the Quadrajet style Sniper, which is the one I have, is designed for GM vehicles. It's designed to replace your Quadrajet. Whereas all the other snipers are square bore. Like all the ones up to this one, because there's several other sniper units, but they're all square bore. They don't have progressive, from the factory, they don't have progressive throttle linkage like a Quadrajet does. Because, you know, the Quadrajets, it opens up the front two jets first, and then it'll open up the back jets.
Yep.
all the other snipers, they open all 4 jets at once. You have to buy a conversion kit to get them to progressively open. So like I said, these are literally designed for GM engines because that's how all GM engines ran. But yeah, I mean, there has been so much thinking and so much planning, which is why I said it's been taking so long. I'm not just throwing it in to get it running. I am like, there's a whole thought process. There's been a lot of thinking, and there's been a lot of thinking on very little sleep. A lot of work. I was working 12-hour days all last week. No, last week I had a normal work week, but I worked an extra day. Today I worked yesterday, which is not normally a day I work. The week before that, I worked 12-hour days plus an extra 10-hour day, 10 hours on a Friday. I worked 60 hours in 5 days. Well, just about 60 hours. It's all about 60. This week I worked 50 hours. So, I mean, running on little sleep, it screwed up my work schedule because you got to think about it. That was the week before daylight savings time. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, not getting home until 6, and then yeah, extra money. But the problem is, there's not extra money going into this. We're that extra money needs to go into the home. We need to cover some things that both me and Jess were out with COVID a couple weeks ago, and neither of us got paid for that time. So both of us are a whole week's worth of pay behind. Not to mention both of putting money into both of our businesses, not knowing that we were going to be out that week of time. So Jess is out there getting inventory for her crystal business. And then, you know, she had plans to switch jobs, and at the same time we all got COVID. So it really screwed up everything. So that money is going to getting us back on our feet. It's not money I'm spending in car parts right now. I will wait a little bit. And besides, I'm not necessarily ready to pull the trigger on what I'm getting yet. Like I said, I still need to go out there. I still need to take measurements of how long, well, basically what that harness is going to look like once I put it all together. Because, like I said, I have 3 or 4 separate harnesses right now that are all going in their own freaking directions. And I need to combine them into a singular harness. I mean, obviously with sub harnesses in it, but one cohesive harness that's all working together. So yeah, the only thing I got to worry about is RMI with some of the sniper wires. So some of the signal wires and stuff, I have to make sure that they're running not parallel to power wires, which shouldn't be too hard. I'll just have that one little bit of wire run its own use. It's like 4 or 5 wires I have to watch out for, that they're not following a power wire. Because otherwise the sniper might get confused at what is an actual signal and what is bleed over from a wire that it's running next to. Which I think most of the people in here would understand that. But yeah, it's trying to wrap my head around all of this stuff and figure it out while running on like no sleep. It took probably longer than it probably should have. But I'm so close to being where it is. Induction. I guess you're talking about the EMI, electric magnetic interference. The Holly snipers are really sensitive to EMI. I mean, it's the reason I'm running 10 millimeter thick spark plug wires. That's a thick spark plug wire. I think what most of the stuff from the 80s and 90s, the high performance stuff, that was all what 8 millimeter, 8.5 millimeter. Your Excel stuff and all that. So yes, that's why the mag wires here are twisted, and they'll be twisted. I am looking to see if I can get some shielding conduit for some of the stuff. But I also don't know necessarily what wires need to be twisted. Other than like the coil wire. So I guess I have to do some more research as what, me go to bed? I don't go to bed that early on a weekend. So if I go to bed, then you guys have no more show. So I don't know. Are you getting comfortable back there? Do you need to go?
What?
No, not you. The dog.
Oh.
I think he just switched positions. He's gonna eventually need to go out to go to the bathroom here shortly. Another hour or so, maybe. But yeah. I mean, you should. I'm sure you are. Typically, OE twists the A signal sires like VAS and wheel speed sensors and modern vehicles. Yeah, I mean, don't know. Oh, it got rid of it. Hold on. Share screen, window, home tab. This one. If you look at this stock harness, well, not stock, but stock, they have the VAS for the. They have that twisted. I'm not using it right now, but it is twisted. This is all getting removed. None of this stuff is going in until I do an upgraded. If I go to a modern instrument cluster, which I will be doing eventually. So all that stuff is going to go in a box for me to use later. But as far as the stuff in the sniper or whatever, I don't know what needs to be twisted other than the mag wires, because they already come twisted. So I don't know. Like I said, these instructions are great, but it's more to show you how things go, not necessarily why they go where they go, if that makes sense. It's not a wiring diagram, but it's just a visual representation of where everything goes. Get rid of this. I wish that wouldn't pop up. It tells you what parts you need and what it is and all that stuff, but well, here you go. Here's the like the power distribution block that I was talking about earlier. So like this is kind of more of the stuff that so I'm going to add another bank to this power distribution block, and there's a bus right here that connects these two, so it'll go across to connect all three. And then this one will, like I said, it goes to the alternator. This one goes into the fuse panel, and then the third one will go into that relay box. Obviously, the distributor setup is going to be different. This wire, this pink wire here, is going to go to the relay box to turn on the relay box. This tack coil is going to go into the distributor for the tack signal for the distributor. Not the tack coil for the sniper, tack wire, whatever. Obviously you got the stock temperature sending unit for the gauges, oil sending unit for the gauges. This is for the brake dummy light. Electric choke is going to be gone because I don't need electric choke. Purple wire is way too long to go down to the starter, so I can actually save some of this purple wire to use in something else. I think I'm going to use part of that purple wire to run the run for the rear defrost. Obviously battery to the starter, from the starter to the relay to the power distribution block. This is the wiper stuff. Green wire is not used. I don't have pulse wipers. I think this is the one where I was going to have something going through. Or was it this one? I don't know. There's a few of these where it's going to have holes where nothing goes in. And I'm going to pass the fuel pump power wire through this bulkhead. Either this bulkhead here or this bulkhead here. And pass it through into the car, and then run it along the rear body harness out the back to the tail, where it connects in with the fuel pump harness. I think that was going to be the best way to do that, and put connectors in wherever the intermediate harness is at, that runs from the front fuse panel back to the back of the car. What are you doing over there, Brad?
I'm in my kitchen checking, trying to find something amongst stuff.
I don't know why it says to, like, it does. I don't have this. See view A. Oh, it's this. Okay. I guess it's if you're using a ballast resistor. I'm not using a ballast resistor, obviously. None of that has anything to do with me. So yeah, there's some things I got to modify on this harness to work with the other harness. Some things I got to modify on the other harness to fit my car. But I mean, overall, this is definitely worth the money that I paid for it. It just gotta, and same with the sniper. The sniper is worth the money that I have into it. It's just gonna need some modification to make it what I need it for. And I'm not afraid to do that. Like, that's one of the things I find on the forums, is so many people are afraid to change anything that they get in a pre-done kit. You know? They like get something in a box and they're like, "Oh, you can't modify it. You can't do it." If you understand how the component works, you can modify it. You know? When you understand how and why something works, it's not hard to make it, you know, as long as I have the right power going to the right place and the right ground going to the right place. Changing the length of the wire or where it's routed shouldn't make that much of a difference. So, you know, obviously, if something's supposed to be shielded, it should still be shielded. If something is supposed to be grounded at a certain place, then it should be grounded there. Like, I know that the main power wire for the sniper needs to run to the battery. I've seen plenty of places where, I mean, there's people that have gotten away with running it to a distribution block with some extra thick battery cables. But that could be a source of trouble. You could be picking up EMI from that and not even know it. For me, the battery's right there. I can run it straight to the battery. I have special posts for that battery that'll let me connect more than one thing to it. I should be fine. I have a dual post, top post, side post battery. So I don't know. I'm not afraid to modify what I have to make it work with what I want. I don't need to use everything exactly how it comes in the box. As long as I understand why and how they did something, and as long as I keep that continuity and the thought consideration of why they did something, then I should be able to achieve the same result in a way that works for me. You know, all of your stupid heist things. I think somebody's commenting, and then it's all the results from your heists.
Hey, I've been the only one heisting and winning, so I'm doing good.
Right, but Harvey's little name tag is the same color as the fucking Streamlab comments. So
Yeah, it is.
I've almost missed a few of his comments because they get blurred in with all of that shit. Everybody else just gambles. It's a nice short thing, not like half a page of text just for you. How much are you even winning?
2, 6, 7, 4.
Oh, anyway, I've never seen a production vehicle that runs that much of anything directly to the battery. All these modern computers run from a distribution system. Oh. Yeah, the only thing that they're asking to run directly to the battery is the main power wire for the ignition control module and the main power wire for the sniper. Like I said, I've seen people get away with running it to a distribution block. But like if you have a problem with customer service and you call up customer service at Holly, the first thing they ask you is, did you run the main power wire directly to the battery? It's the very first thing they ask you. Because apparently there's been that many issues, and most of the time when people move it to the battery, it solves 90% of their issues. So I'm just going to, it's that whole thing. I'm just going to save myself. It's not that big of a deal for me to run it directly to the battery. I'm just going to run it directly to the battery. And their reasoning is the battery acts like a giant sponge for voltage, like voltage spikes and drops. Yeah, that too. I can see that. I mean, I'm literally, do I have, let me have to open Instagram again. Because I know Instagram is safe. For the most part. There, this picture will work. La 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 la. I would also fuse anything direct to the battery. Ask me how I came to. Well, there is a fuse. There is a fuse in the line. There's a 30 amp fuse that runs in line on that main power line. Technically I can run it straight from the battery into my busman fuse panel, because I have, hold on, so we'll pull up this picture. So this is the actual image of the busman fuse panel. This is the main power wire that comes in, goes through the fuse. Oh, see, I don't know, because then I'm still sharing that power wire with everything. If I were to do that, I would have to get the one with no buses, and I don't want to do that. I was thinking maybe I'm not using this fuse here, and I'm not using this fuse here. My worry, though, is that by sharing this common bus with all of these other things, could I be causing my own freaking issues? But, so my ignition control module is here, and I'm going to run those power wires along the rad support, probably just on the front side of the rad support over here. My battery sits over here. The main power wires for the sniper are going to run here, over here, and down this side, and to the battery. My relay box and my power distribution box are going to be right here, right behind the battery. There's a I think my windshield washer fluid box goes right here, so it'll hide behind that. So there is a fuse. I think that's the fuse box right there. There's a little inline fuse on this power wire. Now I can also run I can also run another fuse block just for that stuff too. So I also don't know why. I mean, I'm assuming I can terminate those two together because they have to be terminated at the same post anyway. Do I have any pictures of that? Yeah, I'm not sure how well you can see that on your screen. There's the inline fuse for the main power wire. And then there's the relay for the fuel. I strongly dislike them as well. I think they're ugly. I think they're in the way, and you can't find them when you're looking for them. But that whole wire is going. So from this plug all the way up to the relay box is going. I'm getting rid of the whole power wire. I'm going to put my own in. I'm going to run straight from the plug all the way up over to the battery. Like I said, I can always go back and put get another distribution block with a fuse. It's just it wouldn't be as strong as the fuses that I'm going to be having, because that's a lot of there's a big fuse. Yeah, because there's the distribution block right there. Well, the one that they have in the kit is a fully weather sealed one, but it's not pulling a whole lot of amps. I think it's pulling. Well, they have a 30 amp fuse, and that's including with the fuel pump relay. So the sniper itself can't be pulling that much, considering how much the fuel pump would pull. So I don't know. I don't know how much the sniper itself is going to pull. Okay, where's the picture I have of? I think it's in here. No, not that one. That was before I did any of this. Oh, yes, my stock spaghetti wiring. Is it this one? This one. Is this one? There you go. You can't see it very well. I was asking about the stock. You were asking about the stock throttle linkage. Can you see that, Brad?
Yeah.
It's got the stock linkage right in line. There's my stock
Nice.
whatever. So they'll actually come in here and do what they're supposed to do. Now it also does come with ones included in the kit too. I may end up using those, I don't know. Or I might just use the stock ones. Fuel pump on an OE is typically 20 amps. Yeah, but I don't know how many amps because it's a Holly Sniper in-tank one. I have the Turbo 350, Buick Pontiac Olds bell housing. It's basically stock other than a shift kit. It would have been the original transmission for, well, it wouldn't be the original transmission because that one got, let's just say, engine coolant and transmission fluid and transmission, they don't play well together. I had the stock radiator fail on me and flood my transmission lines with coolant, which was fun. That transmission obviously was junk after that. Because I heard clutch packs and coolant they don't play well together. Yeah, just a D10 cable. That's what this hole right here is for. In fact, I think it's this wire that's going up. I think that's the... Yeah, it was a strawberry milkshake. I have pictures of it. I don't think I have them in here. I don't think I had my Instagram then. I might have. Oh, that's going to look so good when it's done. I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it since I painted the body. Really shitty pictures. Here's some better pictures of the dash before I put the vinyl on it. Repair there, repair there, repair there. I had to repair this down here. Oh, no, I want to go back. Oh, that was it, okay. Like I said, it came out freaking gorgeous. Glove box door. It wasn't just the foam that was the issue. My issue then would have been, where was that? Oh, here. So my issue would have been, yes, I could have replaced this foam, but what about replacing the harder layer that would have been on top of the foam normally? Because I was worried that if putting the foam in here and then just laying the new vinyl across all of this, if this spot here wouldn't have shown up through the top vinyl, because this is firmer than the foam would have been. So I was worried that even if I've contoured all of this stuff, yeah, that's the vinyl's nice and soft. And I have a feeling that this edge would have shown through the new vinyl because of the differences in density between the old vinyl, the new foam, and the new vinyl on top of it. Because I think that the density difference between this and this would have caused the top layer of vinyl to do weird shit. Because, like, I have that vinyl, and it's really soft and it's stretchy, especially when you heat it up, and it shows everything through it. I mean, if I were to have glued this down on top of one of these circles, you would have seen the circle through it. I don't know how to get it to show that, but when I glued it down, you would have seen the edge. You would see the edge of that circle. Yeah, that too. It still might be a problem with the Bondo. I don't know. We'll see. I have not had it in the car out in the sun. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly that gamble. I took a gamble, and it seemed out of all of the things that I saw, other than completely removing all of the vinyl off the dash and the foam and just starting from scratch from the skeleton of the thing, which I don't have the equipment. I do not have the equipment or the buck to vacuum form that vinyl into place and inject the foam. Because that's what they do. They vacuum form the vinyl onto the dash and pump the foam in between the frame and the dash. The frame and the vinyl. I don't have the ability to do that. So I think I did the best with the stuff that was available to me. And like I said, the dash itself speaks for itself. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, whether or not it looks gorgeous after it's out in the sun, I don't know. But for right now, it looks gorgeous. Are you done over there? Oh, so I don't know. At this point right now, it's a matter of waiting. I've done everything I think I can do. I just need to figure, like, I have to go out there and I have to run all of those wires. We'll run that rope and figure out what I need, and I just need to get it down to a point to where I can boil down all the information I have into a set list of things that I need to buy that I don't have to complete that harness. So terminals, seals, plugs, connectors, wire, obviously the relay box, all of that stuff that I need. That I need to have to be able to put the harness in now. Like I said, the new radio that I'm looking at, nope, doesn't need to be gotten right now. I technically have a radio that'll work. It's just when I go switch it out, I'm gonna have to get new pins for my connector and repin the radio side of the connector for the new radio. Not a big deal. Power windows and power locks don't need to be done right now. I just need to know how I'm going to do it and make sure I leave space or whatever to graft them in. They were their own harness in the factory harness anyway. The only thing I need to be able to do is I need to be able to power up the power window motor in the driver's side door to put the glass up so I can park the car outside once I get it running. Everything else that has to do with that harness has to get done when I put it in the car. So I need to have the accessory line. I need to have the rear defrost in because that's all going to run in with the main harness. And I need to have that in before I tape everything up. So that needs to get done when I do the harness. And then it's pretty much, it's plug and play after that. The harness is the last big thing holding me back. Because, I mean, technically, distributor's already in. The sniper itself is already in. I got to mount, the coil and the ignition control box. But all that's got to get done when I do the wiring anyway. I have to install the radiator and the fans. And gas. If gas still exists by the time I go fire this thing up. Because yeah, the wiring is the last step. There's nothing left. Installing like the starter and stuff like that, but that's simple. Getting this harness taken care of is really the last step I have to getting the car running. And then I don't know what I'm going to do because it's a self-learning system, so it needs to drive to learn. The car's not street legal. Like, not in the slightest. And I can't get an inspection on it because I need to replace the front windshield. And probably the brakes and the suspension all need to be gone through from sitting for how long? I already knew the shocks all needed to be replaced at some point. Brakes were new when I parked it, but it's been 6 years. Because I redid the front and rear brakes before we went to Ohio in 2014. Car hasn't driven that much. Like what, 2,000 miles? It's 1,200 for the Ohio trip. And I haven't really driven it much at home. So yeah, I mean, all of the basics have to be going over. You gotta go, I gotta check the shocks, brakes, all the basics. It needs a new windshield. There's a crack all the way down through it. And I need to replace the driver's side window. I have the glass. I need to put all of I think, at least the driver's side door, I need to put the whole window channel system back in it. Which that's always fun. Like, it's completely out of the door. I think the driver's side, the passenger side is in. But that's still crank window. Passenger side, the driver's side is a power steering, a power window door. So, yeah. Eventually, I got to put in both power windows actuators in the car. If those power window actuators work, I might just get the wiring to work and hook them up, and then worry about replacing them later with like a newer, more quicker actuators. Because I know I knew that they were like what? They were really slow to go up in the factory cars. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I entertained you guys tonight. I think that we're all kind of winding down. Brad, you look like you're ready to go take a nap.
Yeah.
I need to figure out what I'm doing. Tomorrow I have to sometime between tomorrow, I think sometime before Tuesday, I need to put the front drive shaft back in the truck. And I need to disassemble the heater box and see why I have no heat. I still think that I have a critter that made a nest in my heating box and is keeping the doors from moving. So the cold air door is open and won't close all the way, is what I'm thinking.
That's always fun.
Yeah. So I don't think it's the heater core. I think the heater core is working just fine. I think what it is I think I've got something that is keeping the doors from moving, whether it's a vacuum leak or if somebody has made a nest inside my heater box. So that's the only thing I can think of. So I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you guys for joining me. Brad, I'm going to be testing at some point the Google Meet thing to see if that's any better option than using StreamYard, because I'm looking for something that I can grab the video feed directly from to put into my Stream Labs instead of doing this Windows share capture thing. Because then I don't have to worry about something else coming in front of the screen or whatever. It's literally going to grab the image as it's coming into the web page.
All right.
Which will be better.
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to what I'm doing now is kind of like sitting in a movie theater with a camera. That's kind of like how I'm doing it now. I'm literally sitting here just grabbing a picture of a web page and transplanting it over here, whereas the other one is like downloading a DVD.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a much better picture. Oh my god, really? Why did I get so much spam today? It's a good thing I don't have that chat on screen like I did before. I don't know why I've been targeted with these particular bots today.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of funny. But then again, I think a lot of other YouTubers were getting hit with these particular ones. Normally I get fake FBI and CIA bots.
Ow! My phone's acting up.
Is you pushing buttons? As long as you're not
Yeah,
unhiding them. Oh,
No,
you did.
it's doing it by itself.
Why did you unhide them?
It's my phone.
Don't do that.
It's glitching out again. Pissing me off.
I bet. You're undoing my hard work.
I'm just gonna close the live chat so it doesn't keep doing that.
Well, we're getting off here anyway. So, all right. Thank you guys. We'll catch you guys next time.